Today at the U.S. Open, a Super 67 vaulted Tiger Woods into...
Hey, Mike.
Sports presentation.
The time has come for the 1997 year itch, forever known as the season of the switch. It's a special day of interleague play right here on Fox. There is something strange going on. What it is ain't exactly clear. Oh, no. Is the world to cease spinning? Today, a new era begins. Baseball's sacred flame crosses legendary lines as two leagues join as one in the promised land called interleague play. The Dodgers, with over a century of tradition, play a new sensation born from the 70s, Seattle's Mariners. Today is the day of days, interleague play.
Oh, no can do. An absolutely spectacular day in the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington. And while the sun beams on the outside, the stars will shine inside the Kingdome, where a sellout crowd is on hand to watch the Seattle Mariners entertain the Los Angeles Dodgers. And a pleasant good afternoon to you alongside the former Giant All-Star Bob Brenly. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to baseball on Fox Sports. Well, Bobby, the fans have said for years they wanted interleague baseball, and now they have it, and they're showing up in record numbers here in Seattle.
The Mariners are expecting over 215,000 people for their first 4 interleague games, and they've been enjoying every minute of it up to this point. A lot of reasons for interleague play. You have the natural rivalries within a city, geographic rivalries, historical rivalries, but for the real baseball fan, this is what you want to see in interleague play. Perhaps the best pitching staff in the National League against the best offense in the American League.
And you ask managers, you ask players, you ask coaches about the one guy they want to see from the American League. The answer comes very quickly. They call him Ken Griffey Jr.
One of the exciting players of today is Ken Griffey Jr.
Griffey Jr. obviously is awesome.
He can do it all. He can hit, he can run.やっぱりもうその時から、その時もまだ、ね、僕よりも全然若かったし、でも、本当にバッティングも素晴らしかったし。
Griffey, after these messages from your local station.
Fox Baseball is brought to you by the Northwest Ford Dealers, home of 5 of the 10 best sellers in America again.
Chip Terry, Steve Syke Alliance back at the Fox Television Center in Hollywood. Let's get you caught up on the first weekend of interleague play. Rafael Palmeiro unties a 3-3 game in Atlanta. His 13th Jack of the Year, 7th against the lefty.
I told you about this guy 2 weeks ago. I love his swing.
He does have a sweet one. John Smoltz started for Atlanta. Mike Mussina for the Orioles, neither figuring in the decision. 4-3 in the 8th. Big day for Mark Clark, bidding for the first no-hitter in Mets history. Reggie Jefferson breaks it up in the 8th. But hey, Mark Clark, a pitcher, Steve, had a home run too.
Oh, did he? Well, this team's lost 6 of their last 10. Look out for a June swoon. They needed this one today.
And they got it 5-2 as Clark picks up his 6th win of the year. Cleveland came from 3-0 down against Andy Bennis to tie.
All right, Chip, thank you very much. Certainly the stars are out here at the Kingdome in Seattle. Ken Griffey Jr. in the high-octane Seattle Mariner offense against Ramon Martinez and the Dodger pitching staff. And, Bobby, you talked about it a few minutes ago. These are the kind of matchups which are so intriguing for the fans of either league.
Well, it's more than just a ball game and a win-loss in the column. This is for bragging rights. The Dodgers feel that, along with the Atlanta Braves, they have the best pitching staff in the National League. No question that the Mariners have the best offense in the American League. So you bring your best into our house and we'll see what you can do.
Well, they're celebrating something new here over the weekend, of course, with the rivalry of interleague play, but nevertheless, it's always nice to remember the past. And here in Seattle, they did just that before the game. the very first inductee to the brand new Mariners Hall of Fame, Alvin Davis. They call him Mr. Mariner. In '84 was the American League Rookie of the Year, also an all-star selection that season. All-time Mariner leader, Bobby, in games, at-bats, walks, and owns virtually every Mariner rookie record.
And really handled himself with unusual class. A true superstar here in Seattle in every stretch of the imagination, and always carried himself as a gentleman on and off the field. A great representative for Seattle, a great representative for baseball.
I wonder if Griffey Jr. will ever be inducted into the Mariner Hall of Fame. You think he has a pretty good shot?
Maybe 10 more years like he's done. He has a chance. Junior, he's quite the attraction. You talk to people about interleague play, and you mentioned at the top of the show, Tommy, this is the man that everybody wants to see. Either that or see Mike Piazza playing drums, one or the other.
Well, the Mariners take the field. A sellout crowd still filing in here to the Kingdom. They had over 55,000 on hand last night in the final game of a 2-game series against Colorado. Today is sold out. Tomorrow is sold out in this 2-game series against the Dodgers. And here are the Miller Beer starting lineups for Bill Russell's team. Strangely, a team that is 1 game under 500. Brett Butler, the DH, leads off. Todd Zeile bats second and plays third. Hitting third, the man who checks in behind Larry Walker and Tony Gwynn in the National League, and hitting Mike Piazza. Raul Mondesi, the cleanup hitter in right. Eric Karros at first, and the rookie Kareem Garcia in left, with the latter third of Roger Cedeno, Greg Gagne, and Wilton Guerrero. That lineup will try and do some damage on right-hander Bob Wolcott.
Wolcott tough on right-handers. They've only been able to hit .241 against him this year. As you see the rest of his numbers, he was second on this Mariner staff in starts last year, even though he spent a month in the minor leagues. This is a guy that Lou Piniella is looking for to be a workhorse, gobble up a lot of innings, keep this team in the game until their offense can get going.
Defensively for Seattle, and when you talk about them, it doesn't matter. Offense, defense, the main man, Griffey Jr. 7 straight Gold Gloves, flanked in the outfield by Jose Cruz Jr. just called up, and the right fielder Jay Buhner, left, center, and right, and then Davis, Espinoza, Cora, and Sorrento third to first, the battery of Wolcott, and a very underrated defensive catcher in Dan Wilson.
Oh, very underrated. Outside of Seattle, not too many people know about Dan Wilson, but he can do it all behind the plate. Superb blocker of pitches in the dirt, tremendous throwing arm, and he has really developed as a pitch caller behind the plate, taking a lot of pressure off some of the younger pitchers on this Seattle staff.
So we're set to go at the Kingdome. Brett Butler to lead it off, and he is the designated hitter today. He'll be followed by Zeile and then Piazza. Butler just returned from the disabled list on the 2nd of June, missed 23 games after tearing his left shoulder in early May. And here we go. He's in from the left side. Slaps to the first pitch right at the shortstop, Espinoza, who throws him out. Espinoza filling in for the injured Alex Rodriguez in the final game of the just completed Mariner road trip in Toronto. Inadvertently on a play at the plate, took a knee into the ribcage area from Roger Clemens, but it's not a ribcage injury.
Well, there was a great degree of concern, because anytime you're talking about those ribs, any kind of a crack or a break or a bad tear in the muscle, and that's a debilitating injury that puts you on the shelf for a long time. But the Mariners were pleased with the prognosis. He should be back soon.
Well, they're calling it a bruised chest wall. Here's Todd Zeile as he takes high for ball 1. Zeile at .226. Good power, 12 home runs and 31 batted in. And he looks at a fast strike.
I played ball with a guy one time that was hit in the face with a bad hop grounder, and it was diagnosed as a bruised tooth root. Sometimes you wonder if they're really serious about these terms.
And there is strike. It goes to 1 and 2.
You know, Wolcott has a fastball and a slider, throw an occasional overhand curveball, and he's really struggled with his changeup, and that's a pitch that he's going to have to control to be effective.
Good looking pitch there in the inside corner for strike 3 to Zeile. Rocky Rowe made the call, and I don't think Zeile liked it.
Well, we saw some arguments between the Rockies players and the American League umpires in the just completed series when they were in town, and there's no question in my mind. They can say whatever they want. There is a different strike zone in the two leagues. American League zone is a little bit higher, a little narrower. They don't call the corners as much as they do in the American League. National League umpires call a lot lower zone, a lot wider zone.
Well, if National League fans want to see Griffey, American League fans want to see Mike Piazza as he takes a strike, and he comes in smoking. 7-game hitting streak, 16 hits in his last 30 at-bats, including a couple of home runs and 7 knocked in. It's been the DH the last couple of days in Oakland, and this one hammered into left field. Down the line, it'll go to the wall. Piazza on his way to second, and he'll go in standing up with a double.
Well, I'm going to say it before you do, Tommy. Mike Piazza does not run well for a catcher. For that matter, he doesn't run well for a third baseman, a left fielder, but he gives it everything he's got. That's full speed. And breaks it down, cruises into second with a double. When you hit the ball as hard as Piazza does, you don't need to run too fast.
No. Generally, you trot. So a scoring chance for the Dodgers is now the hit streak goes to 8 games for Piazza and almost a .600 average. Wow, here's another hot hitter. Mondesi has hit an 8 in a row at just under .470. And that one smothered nicely by Wilson for ball 1. And he has 4 straight multi-hit games.
Well, they've always said that hitting is contagious, and the Dodgers have had no hint of illness this year until just recently. Mondesi, Karros, and Piazza all heating up at the plate.
Well, the Dodgers have collected 10 or more hits in each of their last 3 games, and Ramon Martinez hoping they continue it today and give him a little run support. With all of this talent, 5 consecutive Rookies of the Year, the Dodgers are 1 game under .500 for the season. High fly ball, pretty well hit. Left center field. Jr. at the wall, and he'll get it. Mondesi just missing, banging one out of here, but Jr. ran it down. No score after a half inning.
Kingdom, Mondesi with a drive to deep left center field. Fans here in Seattle have seen Jr. climb that wall many times. Hold your breath. Save it for the next one. Pretty routine play for Jr.
Well, here are the Miller Beer starting lineups for the Seattle Mariners under their manager, Lou Piniella. Joey Cora leads off at second base. Jose Cruz Jr. in left field. And the amazing Ken Griffey Jr. first in all of baseball in both home runs and runs batted in. Edgar Martinez, the cleanup hitter, and the DH. Jay Buhner in right field with Paul Sorrento at first. Dan Wilson catching. Russ Davis at third. And Alvaro Espinoza is the shortstop. And a tall order for the Mariner sluggers today. Tall and lean, Ramon Martinez.
Well, this is the best the Dodgers starters have to offer, and it's not very bad, I'll tell you that. Ramon Martinez, a strikeout pitcher, features an overpowering fastball at times, a tremendous straight changeup. Will throw a little wrinkle of a slider from time to time, but more often than not, he's going to bring the gas.
Defensively for the Dodgers, no errors in the outfield. Garcia, Cedeno, and Mondesi. Zeal 11 alone down at third base. Gagne at short, Guerrero and Karros on the right side with a battery of Martinez and the catcher Mike Piazza. Well, the Mariners in the first 2 games of interleague play against a porous Colorado pitching staff. .283 average. They've scored 18 runs. And just a pair of home runs.
We really expected a lot more fireworks in that Rockies-Mariners series. The first game was 12-11 and no home runs hit in that ball game.
Joey Cora having his best season in the major leagues, takes inside and low. Cora, the 5th leading hitter in the American League at .350. And already he's matched his career high with 6 home runs and 27 runs batted in. 2-0.
Well, I'll tell you, Tommy, it's a good thing they didn't have catcher's gear like that when I played. I would have looked like a trash can back there. He looks like a galvanized trash can.
Some would say you have a resemblance to that already. 2-0 pitch. And it's in there, a strike. Of course, I have never said that.
That looks like something from rollerball. I mean, there's the normal type of catcher's gear that kind of matches your team uniform, and instead of going with the Dodger blue, they chose to go with the road gray catcher's gear.
2-1 delivery. And it goes to 3 balls and a strike. Talked about the career year for Cora. Take a look. Started in the National League, moved on to the White Sox where he played very well, but has become a much better player since joining Seattle. 3-2.
And Cora's done a fine job in a very, I don't want to say unfamiliar role, because he has hit leadoff throughout his career, but it's probably not where he is best suited to hit in the lineup. However, with this Seattle club, he is really the only guy suited to hit leadoff.
3-2 pitch, and it's fouled straight back.
Normally, you look at a guy like Joey Cora and being a switch hitter, being able to handle the bat very well, work deep in the count. You'd like to hit him down in that 2 spot. He doesn't have blazing speed on the bases, so ideally the Mariners would have somebody fast in that leadoff spot and Cora batting second. But the way this team sets up, he's the leadoff man.
Again, a 3-2 pitch. Hit hard to straightaway center field, but Cedeno races back to make the play, and Cora retired.
We mentioned Ramon Martinez earlier. He works very slowly with runners on base. That's a throwback to when Ron Peranowski was the pitching coach here in L.A. He liked his pitchers to work slow when in trouble. Got that great changeup, and if the hitter gets ahead in the count, you better be sitting on the cheese, because he's going to throw you a fastball. 8 out of 10 pitches will be fastballs in this game.
Here's Jose Cruz Jr. just recently called up at the beginning of the month, and he looks at a strike. Cruz only 23 years old. The Mariners' first-round pick, 3rd player chosen overall in the June '95 draft out of Rice. A little bit low, 1 ball, 1 strike. It was believed by many that Cruz would open the season as a Mariners starting left fielder. Why not? Hit .339 during the spring. Hit 2 home runs in the final Cactus League game as he waves through that pitch, and then found out after the game that he was going to the minor leagues.
Well, if he can hit anything like his daddy, he's going to be a great one. His father, Jose Cruz, had a great career playing for the Astros, the Cardinals, among other teams, as you see Junior Cruz strike out.
Well, we talked about Ramon Martinez, how good he has been. Second only to Greg Maddux in terms of winning percentage over the last 4 seasons. In 1990, a 20-game winner. And his brother there, you see, is Pedro Martinez with Montreal. Well, his brother is nasty. Speaking of nasty, here's Ken Griffey Jr. 26 home runs. Leading the major leagues, as you see, along with a 71 runs batted in. He went head-to-head with the top 2 RBI guys in all of baseball, Andres Galarraga, the last 2 nights. And Junior won the duel. Ball 1 in. How do you get him out, Bobby?
Well, up and in, low and away, standard baseball procedure, but the problem is Junior doesn't swing at a lot of bad pitches. He will try to work the count in his favor and then sit on something over the heart of the plate. And Martinez started him fastball up and in, fastball low and away, and now Junior's got the count right where he wants it. Martinez's fastball tails back over the plate when he's pitching to left-handers and usually tries to work lefties exclusively away.
Good fastball there in the outside corner. 2-1 to Junior, who broke his own major league record for home runs through the month of May with 24.
Well, you can see Ken Griffey Jr. likes to work the count, get it in his favor, but I don't know if he's got a weakness.
Junior is the second fastest player to reach 25 home runs in a season, but he hasn't homered since he clubbed number 26 on Tuesday in Toronto. On the outside corner, he thought about it, held off as a strike.
Absolutely perfect pitch right there from Martinez, a tailing fastball on the outside part of the plate that tailed out over the outside corner. Griffey Jr. didn't want that pitch on the 3-1 count.
Well, we'll see what he does on 3-2. Good cut, fouled it back.
Junior gets such great extension on his swing. The theory is to try to tie him up and in. Like a lot of left-handers, he's quick down and in, but that pitch from the belt up, occasionally you can tie him up, get in on his hands a little bit, get a weak pop-up, but you better get it in there.
Again, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Martinez versus Griffey. And he swings and fouls it out of play. You know, the Mariners and the Dodgers were scheduled to play in an exhibition 2-game series here back in 1980. But they weren't able to get it done. So this is the first time these 2 clubs have ever met. And what a matchup, Martinez and Griffey Jr. And Martinez will win the first battle. To Cedeno in center, and the inning is over. Martinez mows him down in order. We head for the second. No score. Half of the second inning, leading things off will be Eric Karros in a scoreless game. Bob Wolcott on the mound, and a breaking ball popped up right side of the infield for Joey Cora, and Karros retired. I mentioned this underachieving Dodger team. A disturbing trend has begun to emerge inside the Dodger ranks, one that might prompt Bill Russell to start wearing a hard hat during games. Last week, for the second time in 4 days, a Dodger starting pitcher threw a tantrum when Russell removed him from a game. Pedro Estacio pushed Russell in the dugout, had to be restrained from attacking him further when he yanked the pitcher in the 4th inning in a loss to St. Louis on the 8th of June. This one hit hard to straightaway center field by Garcia, but there's Jr. again. That incident came 3 days after Ishmael Valdez threw a tantrum upon being removed while losing a game against the Marlins. And this year, there's also been a shower room scuffle between Valdez and Karros, and people are wondering what is going on.
Well, that's what happens when a team is going through a frustrating stretch of the season. The offense is not hitting. The pitchers have pitched well enough to win ball games, but they're not really getting the kind of support from their offense that they need. And a lot of proud athletes down there that don't like to lose. And when things come apart, that's why you have big coaches on your coaching staff. Reggie Smith, Mike Scioscia, you get the big guys to step in the middle. But Billy Russell certainly doing everything he can to turn this thing around for the Dodgers. And it's not unusual for explosions like that when a team isn't playing up to their expectations.
Well, unfortunately,
there's one of the bodyguards right there, Reggie Smith.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, Reggie Smith nor Mike Scioscia, either one, able to step in between Estacio and Russell. For crying out loud, it was Joey Amalfitano. Took an elbow into the rib cage. Thought those big guys are supposed to help the little guys out.
Oh, I did too. Joey Amalfitano should know better than to get in there.
I reckon.
But I imagine if it happens again, you'll see one of those two guys there rather quickly.
A little bit low. Hey, speaking of Joey Amalfitano, the Dodger third base coach, he wants to send his love and best wishes to his wife, Kay, who was involved in a terrible automobile accident while spending time with her husband when the Dodgers were in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. That one into foul ground, and it drifts out of play. I mean, she had some terrible injuries and will be in bed about the next 4 or 5 weeks before beginning to rehabilitate some of those injuries. And Kay, Joey sends his love and can't wait to get back home to see you. Cedeno again fouling it out of play. Counted 3-2. Interleague play has finally arrived. We're at the Kingdome in Seattle. A crowd of better than 55,000 on hand. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Tom Brenneman. No score in the second. And Cedeno, a broken bat into left center field. Jr. there, inning over. 1-2-3 for Wolcott. Ramon Martinez will go to the mound in a scoreless game, last of the second.
Miller Lite, who invite you to sit back and enjoy a Miller time. By Buick Century, discover a little luxury this century. By Quikrete. Quikrete cement and concrete products help you do it yourself. And by MasterCard. MasterCard, the future of money.
Boy, they talk about all the rain you get here in the Emerald City, Seattle. The last 3 days have been absolutely gorgeous. Good-looking town.
Well, the fans here in Seattle are looking forward to that new stadium in a couple years when, on days like this, they'll be able to play outdoors. And should the clouds roll in and the rain start to fall, they have you can't even really call it a roof. It's almost like an umbrella because the stadium will still be open air when the roof is closed. But certainly a day like this, you'd like to be outdoors enjoying that sunshine.
No score, bottom half of the second inning. Ramon Martinez facing Edgar Martinez. And a fast strike.
94-mile-an-hour fastball from Ramon Martinez to Edgar. He likes that fastball. Normally, he's attacking that first pitch. You can see a 563 average on that first pitch. Doesn't really have a weakness. Dusty Baker, the manager of the San Francisco Giants, even though he's the manager, he's a highly respected hitting instructor. He says this is the best right-handed hitter in the game of baseball. It's hard to argue with that.
2-1 now on Edgar Martinez. Well, he had a 17-game hitting streak a couple of weeks ago come to an end, and it brought down his career lifetime average by a point. Hit hard into deep right field, and that ball is gone.
Edgar Martinez knows that there's a short porch here. You can see 312 down the line in right field with the tall scoreboard, but he's taken this shot many times before, played handball off that wall in right field, and this time gets it over the wall.
Jay Buhner, the batter, and he looks at a strike. With that home run by Edgar Martinez, another $50,000 goes to funding Cap Cure's mission to finding a cure for prostate cancer. And a home run swing of Edgar giving Seattle a 1-0 lead here in the second.
Edgar has a very compact, almost effortless swing. You wonder where he gets his power, but very quick coming through the strike zone with that bat hit. Well, that was for Martinez bragging rights, and so far Edgar's leading 1-0.
And no relation, by the way. Should have pointed that out a little bit earlier on. As it goes to 2-2 on Jay Buhner.
Well, unlike Edgar Martinez, who takes a very compact, very smooth, almost effortless swing, if there's a pitch in the zone here, this guy is going to let out some shaft. Jay Buhner does not get cheated.
2-2. Hit hard into straightaway center field. Cedeno will get there shy of the warning track.
Boy, Jay Buhner, he'd make the all laundromat team. I'll tell you that. Every piece of equipment he has is covered with pine tar and rosin, and the helmet's got about a ½ inch thick layer of pine tar on it. You can see the tar there on his hip. And the game just started.
Yeah, but there's one thing that's mighty clean.
Oh, absolutely.
That head.
Yeah, you can shave in the reflection off of that head right there.
What do you think of that look?
I think it's real good for him. I've never seen him with hair, so I don't know what to compare it to, but I've only ever known Jay Buhner with a bald head.
Paul Sorrento takes ball one high.
I don't think too many people are going to criticize his look, at least not to his face.
You're not.
Absolutely not.
High fly ball, right center field, and that one is out of here. And another $50,000 goes to finding Cap Cure's mission to finding a cure for prostate cancer. His 9th home run this season.
Boy, Sorrento is a big part of this Mariners offense. Jr. and Buhner and Martinez, they seem to get a lot of the credit, and rightfully so. But Paul Sorrento hiding down there in the bottom of the lineup, you cannot make a mistake to him. He'll hurt you just as bad as the rest of the guys at the top of the order.
2 hits in the game for Seattle, and both home runs. One and 0 on Dan Wilson. Into left center field. Garcia going back off the wall. And into second base with a double is Wilson. There's another guy you don't talk much about, but he can hit.
And it's probably the way he likes it, as well as Paul Sorrento. Just put me in the lineup, let me play every day, don't bother me. They just go out about doing their business. This ball's very close to getting out of here. It's at about the middle of that Southwest Airlines sign you see right there. The relay throw back to the infield, not even close to a play at second base. Dan Wilson hitting .291 coming into play today. That was his 16th double on the season.
And he's knocked in 26 runs. And bear in mind, this Seattle team is minus Alex Rodriguez. Here's Russ Davis, a number 8 hitter, hitting at .295, and he's down a strike. Davis 8 home runs, 26 batted in, came over in the big trade with the Yankees involving Tino Martinez prior to last season. Good live fastball for a strike, 0-2.
One problem Ramon Martinez has had throughout his career is getting the ball inside to left-handed hitters because he has so much tail on the pitch. You'll see this ball tails out over the plate where Sorrento can extend his arms and drive that ball into the right field bleachers. A lot of problem getting inside on left-handed hitters.
High and away on Davis. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, trying to figure out with Bill Russell how to get those other 2 fellas you saw a second ago out. Sorrento and Buhner each with home runs here in the Seattle second inning. Wilson follows the second with a double. Strike 3 on Davis. Second strikeout of the game for Ramon Martinez. We remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. It was going to happen sooner or later, that word. Been joking about it for 2 weeks.
Well, it's been disseminated.
Thank you. Alvaro Espinoza just activated off the disabled list, a .207 hitter. Filling in for Rodriguez, and he's down a strike.
Well, Espinoza has fashioned himself a very nice career. He was a starter in the middle of his career. He had a few years where he was an everyday player, but basically a utility guy, can play all around the infield. Not having a big year with the bat this year, but he's always been a threat at the plate. A foul line to foul line type of a hitter, and one of those guys you just like to have on your team. He's fun to have around.
1-1.
We saw earlier this year in a ball game, he was polishing Jay Buhner's bald head for him on the bench between innings. This is a guy that'll do anything to help the team.
Runner at second, Dan Wilson, 2 away, 2 runs in. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. Fastball missed high. 2-1 on Espinoza.
Looks like he didn't use as much wax today on Buhner's head as he normally does. Sunny day, they were probably fearful of reflections.
Fastball in, 3-1. That makes a big difference playing inside the Kingdom.
Well, this place is filled up nicely today. As the game was starting, it looked like there were going to be some empty seats, but as we saw yesterday walking home, fans were walking from miles away to get to the Kingdom.
3-1 on Espinoza, and it's chopped foul. Well, they opened the gates an hour earlier than normal last night. Today they will again tomorrow, and they're going to break an all-time 4-game series record. They're going to draw better than 210,000. That is the former record, but they're going to race right by that. The 2 games against Colorado and the 2 against the Dodgers here over the weekend. 3-2 is down low, ball 4, and the inning continues for Cora.
Good at bat by Espinoza right there. Laid off some tough pitches. Martinez had a base open, was working him very carefully in and out, up and down, and finally missed with ball 4. A fastball that was near the knees, possibly a strike with a National League umpire, but didn't get the call today.
Mariners already have scored twice here in the second inning against Martinez, and they're looking for more. Wilson at second base. On at first, Espinoza, 2 away, and here's Cora, who lined to center his first time up. Fastball strike.
You can see that pitch started on the inside corner and tailed right down the heart of the plate. When Martinez wants to go inside the left-handers, he actually has to pick a spot on their body to throw to because that ball tails back so much. If he wants to hit the inside corner, he has to aim at Joey Cora's knee.
That one dribbled off of his foot foul.
Didn't mean he had to hit the ball off his knee. A lot of pitchers who have extreme movement on their fastball. It's not unusual for a right-hander to have problems getting a pitch inside on a left-handed hitter, which is why a lot of right-handed pitchers have started throwing the cut fastball. You hear about it all the time. Well, that fastball doesn't tail quite as much, and you see Cora's in some pain right there, hitting out of that compact crouch. I was talking about that cut fastball. A lot of right-handed pitchers have gone to using it. It's like a little baby slider. It's a fastball that doesn't tail. If anything, it moves in a little bit on the left-handed batter. Martinez does not have that particular pitch in his repertoire.
2 on, 2 in, 2 out here in the bottom of the second. And 0-2 the count on Joey Cora. Fouled back out of play. The Dodgers come in at 32 up, 33 down. You see the pitch total so far by Martinez. The Dodgers 4 games behind the front-running Giants in the National League's Western Division. Seattle, meanwhile, a 1.5 lead over Anaheim, sitting atop that division. Again, the 0-2. And again, fouled off. You know, Bobby, you brought up an interesting point yesterday with the different strike zones from the National League to the American League. National League pitchers may throw a lot more pitches, as we've seen already, to American League hitters over the course of interleague play.
You know, don't be surprised if a lot of starting pitchers from the National League who you're used to seeing pitching into the 7th, 8th, maybe even the 9th inning, complete games, I don't think they're going to be able to do that with the American League umpires. They call a much smaller strike zone. They force the pitcher to throw the ball over the plate more often. The hitters are much more patient in the American League, willing to work the count. And as we're seeing today, Martinez, a very high pitch count already. We're just in the 2nd inning of this ball game. Guys like Brett Butler, he's the National League version of a lot of American League hitters. He'll work deep into the count, foul off a lot of pitches, make that pitcher stand out there on the mound for a long time. And consequently, you get into the 5th inning of a ball game, and suddenly a guy who's used to going into the 8th and 9th is out of gas.
Martinez the okay with Piazza. 2 on, 2 away. And again, the 0-2 to Cora. And again, he's able to fight it off, drop it back out of play, and stay alive for at least another pitch.
Quite a contrast in DHs in this ball game. We kind of assumed that Mike Piazza would be the DH for the Dodgers today to give him a day off behind the plate, and we were kind of surprised to see Brett Butler in that DH spot leading off the ball game. And of course, Edgar Martinez was born to be a DH. We understand he's going to play some first base when they go to National League ballparks, but he is very well suited to that DH role.
Wilson at second, Espinoza at first. The 0-2 to Cora is high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Martinez really having to work to get through this 2nd inning.
And the Dodgers came in from Oakland last night, arrived about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. They were dragging just a little bit in the clubhouse earlier today. That's one thing these 2-game series has really been a negative.
And there's strike 3 swinging to end the inning. 2 runs in the inning for Seattle on 3 hits. Edgar plays long ball against Ramon. We go to the 3rd. 2-0 Mariners.
You're watching Fox.
Two nothing Seattle. Paul Sorrento, Edgar Martinez touching up Ramon Martinez in that 2nd inning. And here we go to the 3rd, where it'll be Greg Gagne, Wilton Guerrero, and then Brett Butler against Bob Wolcott, who's only allowed 1 hit, and he struck out a batter. Strike 1 to Gagne, a long-time American leaguer with Minnesota and Kansas City.
Quite a contrast in the two starting pitchers already today. That was Wolcott's 20th pitch of the ball game. Now 21. Martinez already with 49 pitches in the first 2 innings. Not really a big surprise for Wolcott, though. Last year on July 15th, in a 9-inning complete game against the Oakland A's, he threw only 79 pitches.
Wow.
Efficiency. Get it done. And get it done quick.
Well, Wolcott has very, very good control. We know that. And Ramon Martinez, conversely, will strike out a lot of batters. Fewer hits than innings pitched, but he does tend to get wild every now and then. Just off the outside corner, 2-2. Popped up and playable in foul ground for Dan Wilson. Gagne retired, 1 away. So that'll bring up 22-year-old Wilton Guerrero. He just came back from an 8-game suspension on Tuesday. Back on June the 1st in St. Louis, he shattered his bat in the first inning and was promptly thrown out when it was found to have cork in it. That's illegal, by the way. He apologized for using the bat, said he knew it was corked, and it was the first time he'd ever used it.
Well, it's pretty obvious when a batter grounds out and runs out into the infield to pick up the barrel of his bat. He was trying to hide something. I thought the explanation that Mike Scioscia gave was great. He said it wasn't cork, it was mold. It was just an old bat. Nice try.
And he did get the 8-game suspension. Incidentally, the last 2 players caught with corked bats served shorter suspensions than Guerrero. Chris Sabo was given a 7-day penalty last July. Albert Bell received a 10-day suspension in '94, but had it reduced on the ground down to Sorrento. And there are 2 away. It was reduced to 6 games.
Well, corking of bats, it's kind of one of those things that comes and goes with popularity. Even in my playing days, we had a lot of guys who used to cork their bats, and there has been a number of studies done that go to prove that the only benefit you get from it is it takes some weight out of the bat and allows you to generate more bat speed. You could accomplish the same thing by ordering a lighter bat. The problem is the players say when you order a light bat, you get bad wood. So they order the heavy bat, cork it out a little bit, and then get suspended for it.
Right. I don't think he has to worry much about corking bats. Piazza, for that matter, as well, as Butler shows a bunt. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And it's a psychological thing. You're standing up there at the plate and you've got an illegal weapon in your hand and you feel you have somewhat of an edge over that pitcher out there on the mound. The problem is you get a guy with a cork bat facing a spitball pitcher. I don't know who wins. They're both cheating.
In there is strike. 1 and 2.
You get a runner at second base stealing signs, and man, you got a regular crime wave out there on the field.
Get Gaylord Perry, Wilton Guerrero, allegedly Reggie Smith, according to Ray Knight. That one bounces up there, and it's 2-2 to Butler.
Well, I don't think Reggie Smith had to cork too many bats in his day either. Great switch hitter with power from both sides, but I bet you Reggie Smith saw some cork bats in his day.
Oh, I'm sure he did. 2-2 to Butler with the bases empty and 2 away, and Butler smokes it foul, just ducking out of the way Joey Amalfitano.
Well, for American League fans who haven't had an opportunity to see Brett Butler, that's his game. Force that third baseman to play shallow and respect the bunt, even though with 2 strikes he's probably not going to bunt, although he has. Get that third baseman in close and then try to slap the ball by him.
That one slapped down the left field line. A long run for Cruz, and he can't get it. It's a foul ball.
Well, for all the hoopla surrounding Cruz's offense coming to the major leagues, his defense has been somewhat questionable, although that was a long run and a tough play down there in the corner near the Mariners bullpen. Yeah, there are those that say he needs a lot of improvement with the glove work in left field before he can really be considered an up-and-coming star in this game.
He is the 48th left fielder to play next to Ken Griffey Jr. since the Mariners star center fielder arrived in 1989. And just based on potential and talent alone, he might be there a while in left. Again, the 2-2. And it's high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. How about that? 4 others in left field this season. 1 home run in the first 53 games. They brought up Cruz, and he hit 3 actually in his first 6 games. And there's ball 4. That's a typical Brett Butler at bat.
Force a pitcher to throw a lot of pitches, expend a lot of energy, foul off a couple of pitches, lay off the tough ones, and more often than not, Brett Butler ends up on base.
Well, Brett Butler has had just an amazing career when you consider that it wasn't until his senior year in high school that he even made the varsity baseball team. One of only 26 players. As you saw a minute ago, with over 2,000 base hits.
Probably the best bunter I've ever seen. A lot of people who saw Rod Carew in his prime say he was the best. I'm sure there's arguments from other quarters, but Brett Butler is the best bunter I have ever seen.
Pretty good lead over there at first for Butler, as Zeal stands in and looks at a fastball strike. Over 500 stolen bases. Coming into the season, he ranks first among active players, also in triples, 6th in walks, 7th in runs, 10th in games, and in the top 10 in hits. One to Zeal. Goes to 1-2.
Well, if the Dodgers have any thoughts about starting Brett Butler, they might want to think twice. We talked about Dan Wilson behind the plate, how well he throws. He gunned out Quentin McCracken last night against the Colorado Rockies. McCracken had only been caught 1 time all year, and Wilson threw him out on a perfect peg to second base.
Butler 4 steals, has been thrown out 4 times. You get a look at his lead. And he'll head back to the bag on a throw from Wolcott.
Coming into this season, Bob Wolcott had never surrendered a stolen base when he was on the mound. Does a very fine job of holding the runners, altering his delivery to home plate so they can't get a good jump.
Seattle leading 2-0. Dodgers could tie it with 1 big swing of the bat off Zeal, and it's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That didn't miss by much. Our old buddy Uncle Lou Piniella. Well, we had quite a time yesterday with him.
Well, he can hold court, I'll tell you. That guy likes an audience, and he knows what to do when he gets one.
And a terrific manager. All he does is win. Won the World Series, of course, in 1990, then managing Cincinnati. They had only had 1 winning season here in Seattle when he arrived 4 years ago, and now he's put together 3 in a row, including a Western Division championship in '95. 2-2 goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Lou glad to have his old buddy back, his right-hand man Lee Elia, who found out recently he's been missing the last few weeks from the team while he debated how to handle early stages of prostate cancer. Lee, a good man, terrific baseball man, and about a 97% chance he's going to lick it. We certainly wish him nothing but the best. 3-2. Runner goes, and it's strike 3 to end the inning. No runs, no hits, a man left. We're going to the bottom of the 3rd. Ken Griffey Jr. due up second. Don't go away. 2-0 Mariners in front as we move to the last of the 3rd. Hideo Nomo, the loser in the Dodgers opening interleague game 2 nights ago at Oakland. And his pitching coach, Dave Wallace, kind enough to wear a microphone for us here today and bring you some of the sounds of the game in just a couple of minutes. Ball girl off to a bad day so far.
Well, a nice diving effort, though. I think she was just playing out of position. That stool is way too close to the stands. Now, see, she's further off of the wall there. You can see the stool's not right against the wall. That's important, getting a jump on those foul balls.
Oh, yeah, the positioning, very key. Jose Cruz Jr. went down on strikes against Ramon Martinez back in the first inning. Good change up there from Ramon. Well, Bob, you brought up earlier with a left-handed batter due up, Ramon Martinez may have to make some changes in his approach, particularly with that cut fastball you brought up earlier.
Well, it's not really a legitimate cut fastball. It's a four-seam fastball, which means it doesn't tail away as much. It's a pitch that's more likely to hold its line and stay inside on the left-handers. And it's a pitch he's really going to need against that man right there. As we talked earlier, the way to get him out is to jam him from the belt up inside and then try to get him to chase bad stuff in the dirt.
3-2 to Cruz, and it's ball 4 high. The leadoff man heads down to first. Dave Wallace doesn't like that because here comes Junior.
Well, it's never good to walk a leadoff hitter in an inning, and it's particularly not good to walk anybody in front of Junior. Gives him that hole on the right side of the infield should he hit the ball on the ground. Defensively forces you to throw more fastballs in the event that Cruz tries to steal a base, and we all know what Junior can do with a fastball if you're careless with it.
Junior fly to center field his first time up. And he goes that way again. Cedeno got turned the wrong way initially, but able to recover and make the grab. Well, Dave Wallace, a Dodger pitching coach, wearing a microphone, and he turned to Mike Piazza for how to work some of the Mariner hitters.
But anybody else, he's got that weird kind of inside-out swing inside and gets a barrel on it pretty well. So that's all I saw. But I saw him a couple of times with pitches right over the middle of the plate down, just give you a weak round.
Well, just have Ramon. I got to sign with him for a four-seamer, a little cutter away. So that one that cuts and stays away from him rather than one that comes back on him.
Yeah. The hit was up.
Yeah, they're talking about how they worked Edgar Martinez. Piazza was saying that Martinez has an inside-out swing, and he's able to get the barrel on that tailing fastball that's coming back inside. Dave Wallace says, get a sign for that four-seam fastball that will cut a little bit, stay out over the plate, because Piazza said he's seen Martinez roll over and hit ground balls on fastballs away from him.
There's a strike. Came with a breaking ball.
He hasn't used that slider very much in this game up to this point. He's mostly just thrown fastballs and change-ups and an occasional four-seam fastball, but he's going to have to start mixing them up a little better. This is a great hitting Mariners team, and they sense if a pitcher is falling into a routine or falling into a pattern. Should be fastball away.
Cruz runs well, and that's taken inside. 2 balls and a strike.
You could see how that pitch dipped down and into Martinez. Piazza was set up on the outside corner, and that pitch just won't go to the glove. It's going to constantly sink back towards the middle of the plate. It's where Dave Wallace said use that four-seam fastball, and it'll stay out there on the outside corner. Once again, should be a sinking fastball on the outside part of the plate.
Piazza setting up there. Runner goes, taken, and a throw down to second base, and Cruz is in safely.
Cruz with a small lead at first base, but gets a good jump. This young man has great speed. Goes into second base head first. Ball short, hops Greg Gagne at second base. He's not able to hang on, but no consequence. Cruz had that base stolen.
And that is the first stolen base in the very young career of Jose Cruz Jr. He's in scoring position and a 3-1 count to Edgar Martinez. There's ball 4, second walk of the inning, third in the game for Martinez. And let's go back to Chip Carey in our Fox Television Center for a Miller time game break.
Tommy, Bobby, good to hear from you this afternoon. The Mariners getting it done with the long ball. Same story for the Colorado Rockies. Ellis Burks hits it out to the Battleship Galactica in center field in Oakland. It's 4-0 now. Colorado leading the A's in the top of the 4th. Back to you in Seattle.
Yeah, that's the house that Al Davis built.
You know, I went to a Pink Floyd concert 3 years ago, and I think they left their stage set up in center field. That's what that whole thing reminds me of.
Well, you saw Colorado and Seattle, the top 2 home run hitting teams in all of baseball. There is a strike to Buhner. And Buhner can mash with the best of them. 2 on, 1 out. Buhner fly to center his first time up. Little low.
Well, Piazza's having a much better year throwing this year, catching 30% of the runners, but he bounced this throw to second base. See, Gagne catches the ball up on the heel of the glove, and as he tries to spin the glove over there to make the tag, the ball just comes loose. Good shot.
2 on, 1 out. 1-1 to Buhner is a little bit low. You know, we were talking to Buhner yesterday, and his average by and large has been around the 220s, now up into the 230s all season. He says, I'm not worried about my batting average. I'm paid to hit home runs and, more importantly, knock in runs. And the power number's very good. And he's better in those RBI situations. Off the fist into right center field. It's going to fall and go to the wall. Cruz round third. They're going to hold up Martinez, and it's a double for Buhner, giving Seattle a 3-0 lead.
Boy, as a team, the Seattle Mariners are as good as any team in baseball at using the entire field. We just saw Jay Buhner, normally a full hitter, but he got a pitch that he could handle, and he drove it into right center.
Buhner is 50th run batted in. Man, how can a guy be that strong?
It's got something to do with that hair, I'm sure, or lack thereof.
Runners at second and third, 1 out, and here's Sorrento, who homered to right center field, his only trip. That came back in the second inning when Sorrento and Edgar Martinez hit solo home runs. And now it's 3-0 Seattle with a pair of runners in scoring position and only 1 out. The Dodger infield stays back with the exception of Zeal at third. 1-1.
Real good change up there from Ramon Martinez. I mentioned at the top of the show, 8 out of 10 pitches that he throws is going to be a fastball, and there's no doubt that's his best pitch. But this is a great fastball hitting team he's up against today, and he's really going to have to start mixing them up a little bit more.
Martinez at third, Buhner at second. And it missed away, 2 balls and a strike.
And Jay Buhner, I mentioned, normally a pull hitter. He likes to hit that ball to left field, generate some power to left field, but I think being around Edgar Martinez has made him more of an all-fields hitter, especially when he gets 2 strikes. He's a little more defensive, but he's strong enough he can still drive the ball the other way.
Well, that called a strike on the outside corner by home plate umpire Rocky Rowe, and Sorrento did not think much of that call.
A good changeup from Martinez. He's thrown 2 changeups to Sorrento in this sequence, after Sorrento took him deep on a fastball last time up.
2 on, 1 out, 2-2 pitch. Well, he came back with a fastball, and Sorrento just missed it.
And that's where they wanted to throw that fastball. You could see Piazza rise up on his haunches a little bit, give a high target. Martinez, probably for the first time in the ball game, hit the target. You can see how high Piazza's sitting. That's right where they wanted that fastball. Actually, maybe a half an inch higher, get the swing and miss instead of the foul ball.
Seattle looking to add to a 3-0 lead. And the count has gone full on Sorrento. Waiting on deck, the man who doubled his last time up, Dan Wilson. Fouled out of play. It stays 3-2.
Almost all these Mariners hitters are very good at trying to work the count into their favor and then sitting on fastballs. That's how they all make their living. They can hit breaking balls when they're behind in the count. They can hit mistake breaking balls. But if you are backed into a situation where you have to throw fastballs to the Mariners all day long, you're not going to be on the mound very long.
Martinez at third, Buhner at second, 1 out, 3-2 again. Is ball 4 high. 4 walks now in the game for Ramon Martinez, including 3 here in the third inning.
Well, we're going to see how Martinez went after Jay Buhner in that last at bat before he hit the double to right center field as Dave Wallace heads out to the mound to stall for some time while the Dodgers get their bullpen going. First pitch from Martinez to Jay Buhner. That sinking fastball starts out, comes back over. Then he misses low with a sinker, misses low again with a changeup. Tries to come back in with that sinker one more time, and Buhner fights it off into right center field.
Dave Wallace, a visit to the mound, gives us time to remind you next week on Fox Saturday Baseball's Game of the Week. Don't miss Piazza and the Dodgers. They'll battle their longtime rivals, Barry Bonds and the first-place Giants, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern with In the Zone, followed by all the action. Check local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox. Randy Johnson, a dominating performance here last night, giving up 1 solo home run to Eric Young. He leads the major leagues in strikeouts and is a 10-game winner. Bases loaded for Wilson, and he's down a strike.
I had a chance to see some of that ball game last night as the knuckleballer Tom Candiotti begins to crank it up. There are times when Randy Johnson gets out there on the mound and I don't see how anybody can hit him. That drop down, almost sidearm delivery, the fastball seems to rise up out of the strike zone, and a big sweeping slider.
Jam shot popped up to the right side, infield fly rule in effect, and it's the second out of the inning. Big out for Martinez.
Third baseman, ranking Russ Davis.
Two-seamer down and in. We're going to get a ground ball over here and get a double play and get out of this. All right? Hey, stay with it now. Stay with it. Don't open too soon, all right? Let's go. Come on, get out of this. Come on. Let's go.
Great stuff there by Dave Wallace as Russ Davis hammers it foul, and they were talking about how to go after Dan Wilson, and they got the job done.
And right at the end, you heard Dave Wallace said, stay with it, stay with it. Martinez occasionally will have a tendency to let that front shoulder fly open, and instead of having a good hard sink, a good hard tail on that fastball, it kind of flattens the pitch out. He told him, if you keep that shoulder closed, stay with it, you'll get a ground ball. It turns out he gets a pop-up, but good result nonetheless.
Well, here is a pitch that retired Wilson.
And they wanted to throw a sinking fastball down and in. They got it down and in, but Wilson just got underneath the ball and popped it up. Normally, a right-hander will swing over the top of that pitch and hit a ground ball to the left side, which is what they were really looking for, a double play ball.
Well, 2 away in the inning. The bases loaded for third baseman Russ Davis, and he takes a fastball down low. Davis ahead of Martinez at 2 balls and a strike. Seattle, a pair of solo home runs in the second by Edgar Martinez and Paul Sorrento. Buhner has doubled in a run here in the bottom of the third, and they're loaded with 2 away. Drilled into left field. Garcia looks up, and it's off the wall. Martinez scores. Buhner scores. 2-run double. Davis thrown to third, not in time. 5-0 Seattle.
Mariners fans are wondering why they didn't start interleague play years ago. They have been banging on some of the National League's best in these last 3 days. 2 days with Colorado, and now against the LA Dodgers, as you see Russ Davis's double to the wall in left field. Karim Garcia got turned around a little bit out there. I think he thought he had a play on the ball initially, but nonetheless, a bases loaded double for Russ Davis.
Davis now with 28 runs batted in. Espinoza chops it down to Zeal, and the inning is over, but not before 3 more Seattle runs. Martinez did walk 3 in the inning, and we go to the 4th. 5-0 Mariners. Billy Russell's Dodgers have fallen behind 5-0 to Seattle here in the top of the 4th inning. And a bumpy road for that man. Right-hander Ramon Martinez came in with an ERA just over 3. And yet he surrendered 5 runs, 5 hits, and has walked 4 batters. Dodgers, until recently, have had a hard time scoring runs. But over the last few games, the bat's starting to come around. They'll need it today as Piazza settles in. He has the only Dodger hit, a double back in the first.
Well, you get the distinct feeling the Dodgers are going to have to open a can of bullpen very soon. Candiotti has had a seat down in the bullpen, but Martinez with 80 pitches already through 3 innings of this ball game, and we mentioned the team got in very late last night. You just have to wonder how much he's got left, how many more times you want to send him out there against an offense that can smell the blood in the water. They're going after it.
Piazza takes a strike, and it's 2-2. He'll be followed by Mondesi and then Eric Karros. Hit hard into left and off the glove of a diving Espinoza. He almost came up with a spectacular play.
But Piazza hits the ball so hard, he just doesn't give infielders very much of a chance to react to it. Espinoza feels like he should have had that ball. You can see the nice stroke by Mike Piazza. Time for 1 step and a jump, and not quite enough for Espinoza. He's looking in his glove, trying to find that hole. And he got a nice strawberry off that artificial turf to go with it, so he ends up with no baseball and a strawberry on his elbow. And that man ends up with a base hit.
Here's Raul Mondesi, and he takes a fastball upstairs. 1-0. Mondesi fly to center field, his first time up. That ended the first inning, leaving Piazza at second base. Wolcott has pitched very well through the first 3 innings. He hasn't walked but 1 batter, and he struck out a pair of Dodgers. 2-0.
Well, Ramon Martinez having a rough day as this day progresses, and Billy Russell had some encouraging words for him. He's pushed pitchers, he's shoved pitchers. Pitchers have shoved him back, but that was more of a hang with him, it's going to get better pat on the back for Ramon Martinez.
And apparently, as you bring up, Bobby, Martinez will at least come out to pitch in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
And you wonder, with a bullpen as deep and as effective as the Dodgers bullpen has been this year, you wonder why you would send a starter back out there. It's obvious Martinez doesn't have his best stuff today. He struggled from the first pitch of the ball game, and he's already trailing 5-0 in this game. It may be time to say best wishes next time. Thanks for giving me everything you had today.
Well, we brought up earlier some of the confrontations Russell has had with starting pitchers this season, as it's ball 4 to Mondesi. First 2 aboard here in the Dodger 4th inning. Well, the first one started in a game against the Marlins. Bill Russell and Ishmael Valdez, little push into the back of Valdez to get back up into the clubhouse after being lifted, and then it got ugly in St. Louis with Pedro Estacio.
Well, once again, we talked about it earlier. Both pitchers very frustrated. They feel they've been pitching well enough to win ball games, but the offense has just not scored runs for them. And as a manager, you have to do what you have to do. You put personalities aside, you put personal stats aside, and you do what's best for the team. In both those situations, Billy Russell needed a pinch hitter. They needed to get some offense going, and regardless of how well that pitcher thought he was doing that day, you have to do what you think is right as a manager. This supports what I said about these guys have been pitching well enough to win, but they're just not getting the support from their offense.
Dodgers threatening here in the 4th. First 2 aboard, chopped down to third by Karros. Davis will beat Piazza to the bag for the force there, and that's all. Boy, Karros jumping on the first pitch from Wolcott after he had fallen behind Piazza and walked Mondesi.
Well, some ill-placed aggressiveness right here. Karros likes to hit early in the count, but when the guy's out there on the mound struggling with this control, he's walked a guy. He's been all over the place this inning. Hasn't really been around the zone as he was in the first 2 innings. It might have been a time for Karros to take a pitch, see if you can't work ahead in the count, and then really sit on a pitch.
Well, the one knock on the Dodgers this season has been the inability to get a hit when runners are in scoring position. Not the case here for Garcia as he drops it into left. It'll bring home Mondesi, and the Dodgers on the board. They trail 5-1. Kareem Garcia just called up to the major leagues yesterday, knocked in a couple of runs, and now his third RBI.
Well, I've seen it happen many, many times in the past. They bring a kid up from the minor leagues who's having a good year, and he gets a couple of base hits, drives in a couple of runs, and he gets the rest of the team going behind him. The Dodgers, we've talked about it on and on. They've got a great team. They've got great individual players. They're just not playing up to their potential, and sometimes a kid comes up from the minor leagues and makes it look easy, and everybody takes a deep breath and realizes that, hey, we can do this.
Well, with Garcia coming up, it meant last year's Jackie Robinson Award winner, the 5th consecutive for the Dodgers, and the 16th as a franchise, Todd Hollandsworth, was sent down to AAA Albuquerque. Here's Cedeno. Plays through the off-speed pitch, and he's behind 0-2. But they think Garcia is the real deal. Look at those numbers so far this year at AAA.
Well, we haven't seen the last of Todd Hollandsworth. He was a fine-looking young player last year. He struggled early this season, got away from what made him good, but the Dodgers have had a history of sending guys back to the minor leagues when you least expect it and kind of giving their careers a shot in the arm, you know, having a wake-up call, let them know, hey, this game's a lot tougher than you think. You need to work on some things and come back up and play the way you should.
Line drive, base hit center field. They're going to hold Karros at third base, and the Dodgers have him loaded as the ball gets away from Sorrento. And backing up the play, no one was there. Seattle very fortunate that Karros did not break towards the plate. He'd have made it easily.
Never put your head down on a baseball field until the umpire says timeout, because strange things have happened out there. Ball got loose from Sorrento in the middle of the field. You see Griffey Jr.'s throw to home plate. Karros with a very late jump at second base, so he wasn't going to try to score, and that ball just hits off the side of Sorrento's glove and goes over into foul territory. Had Karros taken the big turn at third, been reading the throw, reading the play, he may have been able to sneak home with the second run for the Dodgers.
Karros, Garcia, and Cedeno on the bases. Seattle in front 5-1. One out here in the top of the 4th inning. And Greg Gagne, the batter. Gagne fouled out to Dan Wilson, his only time up, and he fouls it back down a strike.
We'll get a look at Eric Karros as he made his turn around third base here. He's already slowing down before he gets to the bag. He hits the bag, takes a look, sees the throw coming. He's only about 2 feet off the bag right there. There's no chance to score. Round that base a little more aggressively, but yet be on the balls of your feet, ready to react back to third base.
Saw a quick shot a moment ago. Bob Wells beginning to loosen in the Seattle bullpen. Dodgers trying to get back, and a beach ball has come out onto the playing field and left.
Must have been a Dodger fan.
Yeah. Well, you know, they interesting fact, they sell more sunglasses here in cloudy, rainy Seattle per capita than any other United States city. Can you believe that?
Man, we tried to figure that out, and we've probably come up with the reason why.
A little bit low and in.
They rarely get sun here in Seattle. It's cloudy so often, so people don't really carry their sunglasses with them, and you find yourself driving in the car, and all of a sudden the sun pops through, and you pull off at the nearest gas station and buy yourself a pair of shades. And you do that 30 or 40 times a year, and you lead the nation. That's all.
And you're broke. Bases loaded, 1-1, and Gagne takes high, 2 balls and a strike.
As opposed to Los Angeles, where your sunglasses are surgically affixed to your face.
Right.
But they sell a lot of umbrellas in L.A. because it's so sunny that when it does rain, nobody has an umbrella.
That's exactly right. Interesting logic from Dr. Bob Brenly. Yeah, there you go. I mean, Darren's from L.A. Quick throw to first, and they almost have Cedeno. Wow. Sneaking in behind was Sorrento on that bluff to third throw to first, and it almost worked.
Very nearly caught him sleeping over there at first base. Sorrento with a good job of timing this play. Very, very close. It's hard to tell from that angle. Maybe we'll get a good look here. The tag is applied up high on the thigh. I think he got it right. A tough angle, though, for the first base umpire, Durwood Merrill, not really able to see when that tag was applied, but he got it right.
Swing and a miss by Gagne, and the count goes to 2-2.
We've seen a lot of pitchers try that play with runners at first and third, but very rarely with the bases loaded.
Bases loaded for the Dodgers. They trail Seattle 5-1 here in the fourth. The 2-2 to Gagne is hit hard into left field. It'll fall for a base hit. Scoring is Karros. They're going to hold Garcia at third, and the Dodgers shave the lead down to 3. It's a 5-2 ball game.
Well, this is something we haven't seen from the Dodgers all year long, an extended offensive outburst. A base hit, a walk, a fielder's choice, base hit, base hit, base hit. Throughout this season, the Dodgers have played more of an American League style of game than a lot of American League teams. They depend on those big guys in the middle of the order to hit home runs. This is the kind of inning that will snap you out of a slump and make you realize how easy it can be to score runs if everybody contributes.
So now it's Wilton Guerrero, the rookie second baseman. Bases still loaded, with Garcia, Cedeno, and Gagne aboard, and it swung on and popped up into foul ground. That will drift over and out of play. Lou Piniella pulled a quick hook on youngster Derek Lowe in the opening interleague game on Thursday night against Colorado. Of course, he was getting hammered all over the place. But then the next night runs out Randy Johnson and take care of that. Garcia at third, Cedeno at second, Gagne aboard at first. One out. And the 0-1 to Guerrero popped up. And the infield fly rule in effect as Espinoza makes it out number 2. So Guerrero unable to bring in what would have been a third Dodger run.
I really think it would behoove Wilton Guerrero to spend a lot of time with Brett Butler and learn his approach to hitting. Guerrero has great speed, but he hits too many balls in the air. He's not the kind of hitter that's going to hit a lot of home runs. He'll stumble into one occasionally, but he really needs to take advantage of that speed, learn how to slap the ball on the ground, learn how to bunt. He certainly has all the tools. It's just a matter of learning the game, and the man at the plate right now can teach you how to take advantage of a ground ball.
And that's Brett Butler. He looks at a strike. The third baseman, Russ Davis, about a third of the way in. There you look at Butler and Guerrero, and hopefully for Wilton's sake, some of Butler's strategy will rub off. Taken high, 1-1. Brett Butler's only career Grand Slam home run came in 1984 when he was with Cleveland, and he hit it against the Oakland A's. Strike called on the inside corner, 1-2 to Butler.
When Brett Butler was with the San Francisco Giants, there were rare occasions when he would get down on the knob of the bat. You can see as he's getting his grip on that bat, he always chokes up. But if he thinks he's got a pitcher in a situation where he's going to get a fastball inside, he will occasionally go down on that knob and try to pull the ball hard into right field.
Bases loaded, 1-2 pitch, and it's strike 3 called to end the inning. Dodgers get a couple of runs. Ken Griffey Jr. will bat in the bottom of the fourth. A 3-run Seattle lead.
It's June 14th. Ramon Martinez making his 15th start of the year, and Dave Wallace has more on his mind than just today.
Tell me the truth. What I'm worried about, Ramon, it's June. It's June 14th, okay? You've got 80 pitches. You're dropping down your favorite, and if it's okay now, that's fine. But I'm worried about how you're going to come back and how you're going to be.
Yeah, Dave, but see, first, I saw you before the game, okay? Then it was bothering me. So, it's okay.
Yeah, but why go any further?
I go.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I go.
So, hey, I don't want you to be a hero.
I know.
Well, some of the terrific sounds of the game you get from Fox and only Fox here on our Saturday baseball game of the week. Dave Wallace just wanted to check everything out with Ramon Martinez. And then the first pitch to open up the bottom half of the fourth inning, he serves up a double to Joey Cora. Cora already 20 doubles this season. What a year for him.
You know, Ramon Martinez may have 20 more starts in 1997, and you certainly don't want to go out there and risk blowing it out, throwing perhaps with a fatigued arm. We mentioned the travel, got in late last night, thrown a lot of pitches early in this ball game, and after the base hit to Joey Cora, the Dodgers immediately get Tom Candiotti up in the bullpen again. You know, it's kind of tough. We do these games on Saturday, and it's, you know, it's like the biggest game in the world. But you have to remember, it's a long season, and there's a lot more starts left for Ramon Martinez, and Dave Wallace just has his best interest at heart. I've heard pitching coaches do exactly the opposite. Take a guy back in the tunnel and call him names and challenge him, say you're a sissy, get out there and pitch. I mean, it's the truth of the matter. You see both sides of the coin sometimes.
1-1 to Cruz is a little bit low. Ken Griffey Jr. will follow Jose Cruz. And the 55,000 here at the Kingdome can't wait. Every time he comes up, it's a celebration.
Well, my own opinion is Ken Griffey Jr. would not see Ramon Martinez a third time in this ballgame. He's flied out to deep center field twice, had pretty good swings, just missed the pitches. I'd bring in that knuckleballer to face Jr.
2-1 to Cruz, a swing and a miss, and the count evens up. 5-2, Seattle in front here in the last of the fourth inning. Mariners 2 runs in the second, got 3 in the third against Martinez. As Candiotti was up in that third inning. Edgar Martinez a home run in the game. The Dodgers get a pair in the fourth. And now Seattle threatening with a leadoff double in the bottom of the inning, and Cruz is gone on strikes for the second time.
Well, that's just taking advantage of a rookie right there. Threw him a couple of nasty changeups. Rookies are always aggressive hitters, and usually when they get to the big leagues, they get to the big leagues because they can hit a fastball. So if you can throw something that looks like a fastball but comes up to the plate 7 or 8 miles an hour slower, you're going to get a lot of swinging strikes against young hitters.
Well, here's Junior. As Bob mentioned a moment ago, he has flied to center field, deep center field, twice. And we'll see if Martinez changes his approach. High fly ball, just got underneath it. Over near the line is Mondesi for the second out of the inning, and Cora will stay put. Boy, Junior would probably like to have that one back again.
Certainly didn't miss it by much. Boy, the amount of difference between hitting a pop-up to right field like Junior just did and hitting a home run is just a matter of millimeters on that bat head. At that point, right as that swing ended, Junior knew he just missed an opportunity to hit one in the upper deck here. And he's done that with regularity this season.
People need hard hats out there. Cora started the inning with a double, but Ramon Martinez has gotten down to business. He struck out Cruz, got Griffey on the pop fly to right, and here's Edgar Martinez, who has homered to right field, walked, and scored a pair of runs.
Martinez threw that ball all the way back across the plate. Piazza sat up way out on the outside corner, and the pitch was low and inside.
Two of the best in the business. Ramon on the left, Edgar on the right. And the 1-0 is low. 2 balls and no strikes. Edgar Martinez, of course, a 2-time American League batting champion. And many believe for Ken Griffey Jr. to make a serious run at Roger Maris's single-season home run record, the key may well be the health of Edgar Martinez, the man who hits behind him. The two were only in the same starting lineup 54% of Seattle's regular season games from 93 through 96. This year, they've only missed 1 game between them. That one bounces up there, 3-1.
Well, after the first pitch to Edgar, they've really just pretty much conceded they're not going to give him anything to hit, as you get a good look at Alex Rodriguez. Man, oh man.
Oh man is right.
That's just the tip of the iceberg there. That guy is going to be a great one for years to come.
3-1 pitch. And they didn't want any part of Edgar. It's ball 4, low and away. Alex Rodriguez. 21 years old. And those looks. Where's he going? How's he going?
I don't know, but they need to take the lid off of this stadium so he can get big, because he is going to be huge in the game of baseball. I mean, they've already got Junior in center field, the most personable, likable, marketable player in the major leagues, and this guy's not going to be far behind him.
2 on, 2 out for Jay Buhner, as Ramon Martinez has walked 5 now in the game. Whoa, power versus power there. Cora at second, Edgar at first. And a little low to Buhner, evens the count at a ball, a strike.
Well, just keep an eye on Mike Piazza behind home plate. He's been moving out on that outside corner, and that fastball, that sinking, tailing fastball from Martinez continues to tail back into the middle of the plate. Change up that time from Martinez. But with this right-handed heavy lineup for the Seattle Mariners, we heard Dave Wallace say it earlier. Why don't you use that four-seamer, try to cut it away from some of the right-handers, because that tailing fastball is coming right back into the wheelhouse of some of these big right-handed hitters.
1-2 to Buhner. And he fights it off, fouls it out of play. Count will stay right there. Buhner doubled in a run with a drive to right center field his last time up. Cora and Martinez aboard. The 1-2 is fouled straight back.
Got that pitch up just high enough to Jay Buhner. Started up and out over the plate, and it tailed back in, able to foul it straight back. As long as the pitch was up there, it's okay. Gets that sinking fastball down a little bit more. Buhner likes that pitch down and in.
1-2. Low and away, and a count even at 2-2 to Buhner. Well, certainly Seattle has come alive. As far as a baseball city is concerned, they love their Mariners. This franchise looked on the verge of leaving the city just 3 years ago. And a swing and a miss ends the inning. No runs. A hit, 2 men left. We're in the Emerald City, where the Mariners lead the Dodgers 5-2.
Love it.
Hold off Seattle from any damage in the 4th inning, leaving 2 aboard. So here we go in the 5th. Mariners 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They've left 6. The Dodgers 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They've stranded 5, and Zeal is down a strike to open the inning. Well, Tom Candiotti continues to throw in the Los Angeles bullpen. He's been up 3 times now in the game. Popped up down the left field line, a long run for Espinoza, and he's able to make the catch. You know, Bobby, it was, I think a lot of times, and you brought it up, a lot of times a fan will suspect that, you know, the manager or coaches can be too hard on an athlete, but I thought it was touching to some extent that Dave Wallace is keeping an eye out for his pitcher and letting him know that this is a long season, and our Sounds of the Game segment a little bit earlier on.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Tommy. He just wants to make sure that Ramon Martinez realizes how important he is to the Dodgers. Got at least 19, 20 more starts this season, and if for whatever reason your mechanics are out of whack, you're having a rough day out there on the mound. He's thrown a lot of pitches already in the ball game. He told him, don't be a hero. You know, I'm concerned about the future as well as this game today. You know, as I said earlier, I've seen pitching coaches that try to use the other technique, and there's a couple of different ways to get a horse to run, and one way is beating him, and that certainly isn't Dave Wallace's way.
Nardi Contreras, a pitching coach for Lou Piniella. And the 1-1 to Piazza. Drilled into deep left center field, and this ball will bounce up and over the wall, a ground rule double. Boy, Piazza putting on a show here today. He doubled to left his first time up, single to left in the fourth, and here in the fifth, a ringing ground rule double to left center.
Well, he put on a show in batting practice today for the fans here at the Kingdome. A lot of oohing and awing as he hit a couple of balls into the second deck here in left center field and takes that same swing right into the ball game today. Here's a good look at a very strong man jumping on a high pitch. Uses a lot of upper body in his swing. And why not when you got an upper body like that?
Piazza at second base. Now 15 doubles for him this season, and here's Raul Mondesi. 0 for 1 is fly to center, walked and scored in the Dodger 2-run fourth inning off Wolcott. Swing and a miss, strike one. And he fouls it away. Wolcott has jumped in front of Mondesi at no balls and 2 strikes.
That took advantage of Mondesi's aggressiveness. He likes to hack at that first pitch, and Wolcott threw him a tough slider, got the swing and a miss, and came back with a high fastball to Raul Mondesi and got the foul out of play straight back. In this situation, you got a couple of different ways you can go after him. Another high fastball or a breaking ball in the dirt as you look at Mondesi's team leading numbers.
Well, he led the Dodgers last year in runs, hits, doubles, and total bases. And only 26 years old is Mondesi. That ball lifted into left center field. Cruz drifting back and makes a play for out number 2.
Boy, Bob Wolcott got away with one right there, and Mondesi would love to have that pitch back. A hanging slider right over the heart of the plate. Mondesi hit it hard, but didn't hit it off the good part of the bat. Didn't get the kind of carry he needed to get the ball into the gap.
So now it'll be Eric Karros. 0 for 2 is popped up to the second baseman Cora. Bounced into a fielder's choice and scored in the fourth. Seattle in front by 3. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Piazza at second and 2 away.
Anytime you have a catcher running at second base for any amount of pitches, the catcher that's calling the sign starts to get a little paranoid.
Did that one hit his bat or his hand? Apparently got the knob of the bat, and that's strike 1 to Karros.
You know, most catchers pretty well know almost every set of signals a team may use, and the longer you can stand at second base and get a good peek in there to the opposing catcher, if you're out there long enough, eventually you'll figure out what set of signs they're using or what sequence of signs or what number is going to be the sign for that given hitter. And you could see Dan Wilson before the at-bat to Eric Karros kind of rolled his finger around in a motion like roll it, which means we're going to change the signs, and that's what you have to do.
Pitch on the way to Karros, and a fly ball pretty well hit left center field. Cruz at the wall, looks up, goes to get it, and can't. Goodbye. Karros, a 2-run bomb, and Seattle's lead is now 5-4. Let's right now go to Chip Carey in Hollywood for a Miller time game break.
Okay, Tommy, thanks a lot. While Eric Karros says Capaya, same story for Larry Walker. He hits this one into the second deck. of the Battlestar Galactica, 446 feet away. It's his 19th of the year. It's now Rockies 5, Athletics nothing, bottom of the 7th in Oakland. Back to you in Seattle.
All righty, Chip, a good one going here right now. And with that home run by Eric Karros, it means another $50,000 goes to funding Camp Cure's mission to finding a cure for prostate cancer. Lou Piniella looking for a cure against his Dodger offense, which is all of a sudden come alive after falling behind 5-0. The Dodgers got 2 runs in the 4th, 2 more here in the 5th, and let's see if Lou will make a change.
Yeah, it certainly was a slow walk out there to the mound. Normally you do that as a manager, as a pitching coach, to give your reliever a little more time, but Lou just wasn't in a hurry. Went out there and asked Bobby Walcott if he's okay, and he apparently gave the right answer, so Lou's on his way back. Too many more of these hanging breaking balls, though, and Walcott will be walking back to the dugout with Lou next time. Eric Karros, a very good breaking ball hitter, especially if they're up over the middle of the plate like that one was.
Well, he brought up earlier this Dodger offense stagnant for most of the year, now beginning to break through. Hot smash, good play by Sorrento, and he feeds Walcott at the bag to end the inning. Eric Karros and the Dodgers coming back against Walcott. It's now a 1-run game.
Back when going to the store could take days.
Any sign?
Next stage, next grade, next way. Generation next, generation next, generation next.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Old Milwaukee, America's best tasting beer, by Your Touch and Johnson & Johnson, all the caring in the world, by 7-Eleven, oh thank heaven for 7-Eleven, and by Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next.
Get a look at a beautiful day here in Seattle, Washington. And on the inside, better than 55,000 on hand for this matchup. The Mariners and the Dodgers, and a good one thus far. Seattle in front by a run. And now coming on from the bullpen, right-hander Tom Candiotti.
No secrets here. Tom Candiotti, a knuckleball pitcher. He also throws a fastball and an occasional overhand curveball when he needs to get a strike, but when he can, he's going to throw the knuckler. Try to do anything to throw off this Mariners offense. They were having their way with Ramon Martinez today, who threw 99 pitches in his 4 innings of work. Not a typical Ramon Martinez outing.
So now Candiotti trying to hold off Seattle from any further run production as Sorrento leads things off and fouls it away. Sorrento, a big part of the offense. A solo home run to right center field, his 9th of the season. It came in the 2nd inning. And then he walked, was stranded at 3rd in the 3rd. Now the numbers on Ramon Martinez very similar to those of Hideo Nomo when he pitched a couple of days ago against Oakland. 5 walks, 5 earned runs. Well, that line on Nomo the other night, one of the strangest I've ever seen. 5 1/3 innings. He allowed 1 hit, struck out 8 batters, but he walked 5 and was charged with 5 earned runs. 2-2 now on Sorrento.
It really appeared that he just hit a wall. He was dominant early in the ball game, struck out 4 of the first 5 batters in the game, and then just lost it.
Hit hard into deep right center field, but room out there for Cedeno. And a little room for us to send it back to Chip Carey for a Miller time game break in Hollywood.
Okay, Tommy, thanks a lot. The Orioles have finally broken through. Tough day for Chris Hoiles. He struck out 5 times today. Had a chance to tie the Major League record for an extra inning game with 6. But no, he doubles off the right center field wall. 2 Orioles score off Joe Borowski. It's 6-4 Birds, top 12 at Turner Field.
Baltimore able to beat Greg Maddux last night. Jimmy Key just a little better. And they're going for 2 straight wins in Atlanta today.
5 punch-outs for Chris Hoyles.
And then a game winner, a lot like yourself. That day you committed the 4 errors down at third base. Tied the game with a home run and knocked in the winner. I'm sure you remember that day quite well, as it's 1-1 to Wilson.
Nobody will let me forget it.
Right.
Least of all Mike Lacoste, who was the pitcher that day. 4 errors, 4 unearned runs scored in the 4th inning.
And that's been your lucky number ever since.
Well, I say a good big league pitcher keeps the ball away from the guy playing out of position, and
right.
I got more than my share of action down at third base that day.
2-1 on Danny Wilson is swung on and fouled back out of play. Wilson, one of the real surprises to the season in 1996. Former #1 pick by Cincinnati. Came over in the deal for Brett Boone 2 years ago. And he is a good-looking catcher. Already one of the better catchers in either league. Little low, 3-2.
Well, Dan Wilson was always recognized as a very solid defensive catcher. He could do everything you had to do behind the plate. But his offense was always a little lacking. But I think he just woke up one day and realized I can hit, and he hasn't stopped since.
On the ground to Gagne. 2 away. Well, interleague play here this weekend, and we're bringing it to you right here on Fox Sports. 55,000 in the house for the Mariners and the Dodgers. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Tom Brenneman. Our director, Jim Lynch. Our producer, Mike Weissman. And glad you're with us. Seattle jumped out in front 5-0 at the end of 3, but the Dodgers a pair of runs in the 4th, 2 more in the 5th, and now a 1-run game. Hit hard into left field by Russ Davis. Mondesi won't get there. Neither will Garcia. And it's a stand-up double for Davis, who has a pair of doubles and 2 knocked in today. If he starts to hit, the Mariners might average about 9 runs a game.
I mean, you just keep thinking to yourself that Alex Rodriguez is not in the lineup and probably won't be for another 4 or 5 days until that chest wall injury has a chance to heal. But Russ Davis picked on a high breaking ball from Candiotti, kept back very well, kept his hands back and lined it into the gap in left center. There you see A-Rod.
Well, for Davis in limited playing time, 28 batted in and has 19 doubles. That average has now gone above 300.
And one of the knocks on Davis was he had stone hands over at third base, but we saw him in the Colorado series make a couple of fine plays down there, diving once to his left, once to his right.
Espinoza, 1-0 count. And it's into center field, a base hit. They're going to wave around the runner. Here comes the throw home, cut off. 6-4 Seattle as Espinoza gets his first hit of the game.
Candiotti has problems right now. He's a knuckleball pitcher and couldn't get his knuckleball to work to Sorrento or Dan Wilson. The ball's not moving very much, and when it does, it's out of the strike zone. The Mariners hitters were laying off, so he's gone to the slow curveball. You can see the arc on that pitch. Espinoza just waits. It's not really thrown hard enough to fool the hitters. And Russ Davis and Alvaro Espinoza both sat back, waited on the curveball, and lined it into play.
Lead up to 2. Here's Cora with Espinoza at first and 2 away. Runner goes. Pitch taken inside. Piazza can't find the handle.
That's probably just as well. Mike Piazza couldn't find the handle on that ball. Espinoza with a great jump at first base, and the very slow pitch once again from Candiotti coming up to the plate. Caught it well, but just didn't make the transfer into the throwing hand, and part of that reason is because of the big knuckleball mitt that Candiotti's using behind the plate. Tough to find that ball in that big glove.
2-0 now to Cora.
That's more like a piece of luggage than a baseball glove, that knuckleball mitt. That is a huge piece of leather right there, particularly when you've started the game using your traditional glove, and now all of a sudden you're using one that's a lot bigger and a lot heavier. Quite a change.
On the outside corner, a strike. 2-1 to Cora, who is lined to center, struck out, doubled to right center field his last trip in the 4th inning.
And that is Tom Candiotti's catcher's mitt. That's not Mike Piazza's. Candiotti, being a knuckleball pitcher, carries that glove with him everywhere he goes.
Runner will stay put on that pitch in the dirt. 3-1 now to Cora. Could you handle a knuckleballer with a normal catcher's mitt?
Well, you probably could, but there will be those times when you need that extra bit of leather just to knock the pitch down. Normally with a knuckleball pitcher, you're not so concerned with catching the ball. You just want to keep it in front of you. You know, Bob Uecker's old line about how do you catch a knuckleballer, he said, no problem. Wait till it hits the backstop and go pick it up. You see a little traditional catcher's mitt, considerably smaller.
3-1 pitch, and that hit Cora.
Well, the fans are reacting for no reason. Tom Candiotti just hit him right there with about a 68-mile-an-hour curveball. Joey Cora tried to jump rope over that pitch as it broke down and in, but just couldn't quite get out of the way. You see this ball is going to start on the inside part of the plate and go down and into Cora. He's not sure which way to go. It actually hits him on the inside of his left leg, the back leg. He appears to be all right.
So 2 on, 2 out, 1 run in the Seattle 5th. And Cruz, the batter, has struck out twice, walked, stole a base, and scored a run. And he looks at a strike.
Candiotti throwing a lot of curveballs. A lot more than he normally does, which would tell me that he's having problem either with the feel of that knuckleball or perhaps the dead air inside the Kingdome is not allowing that knuckleball to move the way it does in an outdoor stadium.
0-1 to Cruz, and he's down quickly, 2 strikes.
You can see that knuckleball stayed up around the letters the whole way to home plate. No flutter, no movement, no erratic darting as it went to the plate.
Espinoza and Cora aboard. Seattle in front 6-4, last of the 5th. 2 out in the 0-2. Pops out of the mid of Piazza.
And once again, the knuckleball stayed up high. Trying to find the highest seams on that ball that he can in order to get those fingertips dug in there.
And he knuckles it up there, missed by Cruz to end the inning. 1 run, a couple of hits, 2 men left. We played 5 in Seattle. Mariners 6 and the Dodgers 4.
Today.
Yes, along the waterfront here in downtown Seattle. Ferry getting a few people back home. There is the afternoon wears on. Inside the Kingdome, a good one, 6-4, Seattle in front of the Dodgers. Lou Piniella has made a pitching change. He'll now bring in the right-hander Bob Wells, taking over for Wolcott.
Wells pitched a couple days ago against the Rockies, an inning and 2/3, gave up a couple of hits, but no runs.
Cedeno, first pitch swinging, and an easy play for Jr. Tonight on an all-new Cops. Real life heroes, real tense moments. Only one show has so much real life action. An all new prime time Cops, followed by America's Most Wanted. It all starts tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Wells facing Greg Gagne, and a fastball strike.
Yeah, Wells, the right-hander, a fastball slider pitcher. See his numbers on the season. Does give out his share of base hits. Will occasionally lose that strike zone and walk some guys, but this guy's one of Lou Piniella's favorites. He's a real bulldog. He likes to take the ball. He likes to get out there on the mound and attack the hitters.
Well, Wolcott in line for a win if the Mariner bullpen can hold down the Dodgers, but those kind of outings from anyone in the Seattle pen, by and large, have been few and far between. Norm Charlton, no longer the closer. He's been ineffective. Bobby Ayala, after struggling early, has now taken over the closer's role. And Piniella telling us yesterday he's going to let Charlton now come into the game a little bit earlier to pitch through his problems. Many remember 95. Charlton was released by Philadelphia, signed by Seattle, took over as their closer, and helped them win the American League West with dominating pitching.
And Lou did that with Charlton just the other night. On Thursday night, he brought him into the 5th inning of a ball game. Try to get him in there in non-pressure situations where he can work on some things and try to iron out his problems. Obviously, he's lost a little bit off his fastballs from his nasty boys days with the Cincinnati Reds, but of more concern is the fact that his split finger is not diving like it used to as it comes to the plate. It's tumbling a little bit more, and Lou is hoping by working him into the middle of the ball game he can iron out those problems and then slide right back into that closer's role when he does.
Boy, Charlton, you mentioned the nasty boys. Were they ever? Charlton, Dibble, and then Randy Myers under manager Lou Piniella, and just absolutely shut down that powerful Oakland A's team to win in a 4-game sweep. High 3-2 to Gagne. Three and two to Gagne, trying to get aboard. Lined into left field, and there is Cruz. Second out here in the 6th. And here's today's Pepsi All-Star balloting update in the American League. Justice Griffey Jr., again, the leading vote getter, over 1.2 million votes. Brady Anderson also there, an infield of Ripken, another Mariner, Rodriguez, Alomar, and Tino Martinez, a former Mariner. Edgar Martinez, the DH.
2 Rodriguez, 2 Martinez.
And a whole lot of hits, fouled out of play.
It's got nothing to do with the name. They could all be called Smith, and it wouldn't matter. Every one of those guys can roll the pole.
Tell you about the National League balloting here in a moment. As Wilton Guerrero takes, it's 1-1. Over the National League, Bonds, Lofton, and Walker in the outfield. Caminiti, Larkin, Biggio, and Bagwell. Piazza leading the way. The 3rd overall leading vote getter is Piazza, behind Jr. and Cal Ripken Jr. And there's a base hit to left center by Guerrero.
Well, I'd take either one of those lineups and take my chances. As you see, the 2 leading vote getters.
Actually, 1st and 3rd. Ripken's in between there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Leaders in their respective leagues, though.
That's what I meant.
Well, I apologize. I mean, I look for every chance I can to jump on you. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you never make mistakes, for crying out loud.
Jeez. Well, just for those who are interested, Ken Griffey Jr. with 1,205,581. Wait a minute, 582. That kid just voted down there.
Here's Brett Butler. A strike.
Ripken second with 872,000 plus, and Piazza a close third at 841, 733. Get out, vote early, vote often for your favorite players.
Now we've got to get a handful of those things for the plane ride back tonight. Dodgers down 2. A 2-out single by Guerrero, who leads at first. He can really run, and the throw sends him back to the bag.
This is one of those situations where you may see Brett Butler pull a ball. Normally, he doesn't go to the plate and look to pull. Get a good look from overhead at the lead of Wilton Guerrero at first base. But with that huge hole on the right side, Butler may take a shot over there if he gets a pitch from the middle of the plate in.
0-1. Guerrero not going, and he tried to pull it, but right at Sorrento, and that'll win the inning. A hit a man left. We've played 5.5 in Seattle, and the Mariners lead the Dodgers by a pair.
I don't ask for directions when I'm lost.
Back at the Kingdome in Seattle, a 6-4 Mariners lead. And here's Jr. 0 for 3 is flied to deep center field twice and then lifted a short fly ball to right his last time up. And Candiotti, on relief of Ramon Martinez, deals ball 1. Boy, his father was quite a player. Part of the Big Red Machine in Cincinnati. Back-to-back World Series championships in '75 and '76. Most people talk about Joe Morgan or Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Concepcion on that team, but Griffey batted number 2 in the order and made things happen. Terrific hitter, outstanding defensive player, and blazing speed.
Tremendous speed.
And this is Father's Day weekend as Ken Griffey Jr. fouls it away, and certainly Junior and Senior share a very special relationship. You asked Junior about his career highlight is when he joined his father as the first father-son combo to play in the major leagues at the same time. High drive, way back, number 27, and happy Father's Day. His last one was on Tuesday. He was about due for number 27, and that's another $50,000 to funding Camp Cure's mission to finding a cure for prostate cancer. Ball 1 to Edgar Martinez.
Boy, some hitters, if you take the fear of the fastball out of the approach to hitting and let them just sit on off-speed pitches, it's inevitable they're going to hit home runs. Candiotti had tried the knuckleball. He tried the slow breaker. He comes back with a knuckleball that doesn't knuckle, and you can tell that ball is headed for the nether reaches of this ballpark.
1-1 to Martinez, and that's a strike.
I'll tell you, I knew Junior's dad pretty well as an opponent, because the first game I played in the major leagues, he ran over me so hard at home plate, I think I still have bruises.
Solidly built man.
Oh.
Still is, as Edgar fouls it back.
He was a runner at first base on a base hit to right field, advanced to third. The throw got away from our third baseman into foul territory, and Senior jumped to his feet and sprinted down that third base line. And the throw and Senior arrived at the same time, so I'm told.
That goes to 2-2.
Woke up and my mask was in the first base dugout. Both shin guards were on backwards, and I was strangling on the straps from the chest protector. They told me I didn't hang on to the ball. I don't know.
2-2 delivery, and it's hit down the left field line. Fair ball into the corner. Martinez has been aboard all 4 times in the game. A double, 2 walks, and a home run. Well, you know, we were talking about Junior and his father, Ken Sr. The first father-son combo to play in the majors at the same time, and on the 31st of August right here, the first father-son to appear in the same lineup. But what a thrill that must have been.
Oh, that has to be an incredible thrill. I mean, I know the kind of joy I get just out of watching my son play. Look at those career numbers. But I can't imagine playing in a major league with your son. That had to be great for both parties. Of course, I bet Senior wished Junior would have hit that ball out of the park so he didn't have to run so hard to second base.
Probably reminded him of that. And I don't want to leave out, there is not a finer lady you'll ever meet in your life than Senior's wife, Junior's mother, Roberta, and they call her Birdie, and she is a terrific lady. Buhner, a high chopper off the plate. Candiotti will go to first, get the out there, and advancing on to third is Martinez, 1 away. Well, when you hit a home run, I know that Father's Day isn't until tomorrow, but Got to figure with the time difference here in Seattle, and Ken Sr., a coach with the Reds, and they're playing at home in the Eastern time zone in Cincinnati early tomorrow. Maybe Jr. will dial him up later tonight. Tell him what happened.
Got your president a day early, Dad.
That's right.
If he'd hit that much harder, it might have gone to Cincinnati.
Dodger infield in. 7-4 Seattle lead. Martinez at third with one out. And that one gets away from Piazza. It'll be 8-4 Seattle.
Well, Piazza battling that knuckleball back there behind the plate. Using that big glove we talked about, all you try to do is knock it down, keep it in front of you somehow, and you could tell by the way that Piazza reacted, he thought he had that ball trapped against the ground. See, the glove goes straight down. He thinks he's got it trapped like a mouse, and he looks, and it's not there. The bottom falls out of this knuckler the last several inches. He thought he trapped it against the ground to keep it in play, but no such luck.
Then he took it out on the umpire, for crying out loud, threw his mask at him.
Well, that happens more often than you might realize over the course of the season. When those wild pitches and pass balls get by, you're not really concerned with who's in the way of that flying mask. And Rocky Rowe, heads up, oh. Well, he's got a chest protector on. I'm sure that didn't hurt him too much. Rocky Rowe's a big, tough guy back there.
Seattle once led 5-0. It was trimmed down to 5-4, and now an 8-4 Seattle lead as Sorrento fouls it out of play. Counted 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, every now and then, Bill Russell has a chance to square off with Colorado and their high-octane offense, but this one might be a little better. And they don't even have all the cogs in the machine here today, with Alex Rodriguez sitting out the next week.
Well, it's just amazing to watch this Mariners team. Not only are they good hitters, they're smart hitters. Ramon Martinez started the game throwing a fastball in the low to mid-90s consistently. They make the change to Tom Candiotti, and you can see every one of these hitters has gone up to the plate in more of an off-speed mode. They're looking for slow stuff and getting some really good rips. Not necessarily that one.
Strike 3 to Sorrento. 2 down. Hey, Saturdays we have games, but leading up to the game, you don't want to miss In the Zone, the baseball show for the Fox generation. Watch the Cyber Zone segment for your chance to live out your baseball fantasy with your favorite player. Catch In the Zone Saturdays, 1/2 hour before game time on Fox. And they have the In the Zone crew here with us the last couple of days. Melissa Foreman in town to bring you a segment in a couple of weeks about the men and women behind the scenes. All the folks that work so hard, put in all the hours, camera people, those down in the truck, running the cable lines to get ready for every telecast we bring you on Saturdays. I'm sure it'll be a great piece. I don't know if I want to see some of our crew, though, put on television. Well, Kara, we don't mind her. But after that, the pickings are slim. 1-1. And it's low to Wilson.
But they're very good at what they do. The best. You know, if looks was all that mattered,
well, look at that.
That guy wouldn't be here.
David Benzer, I tell you, I understand he's going to get a lot of pub on this deal, and that is not good on the outside corner. But it missed. 3-1. Well, Rick's all right. He's up here with us in the booth as it's a 3-1 count now on Wilson. Hit hard into deep left center. Cedeno with room at the 389 mark and makes the grab to end the inning. A couple of more runs as we move to the 7th. 8-4 Seattle. We'll be back after these messages from your local Fox station. The beat goes on for Junior.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Fox Sports is presented by Les Schwab Tire Center.
Edgar Martinez and the Mariners through 6, leading the Dodgers 8-4. Bob Wells on in relief of Bob Wolcott. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the Dodger batting order. Zeal, Piazza, and Mondesi here in the 7th. Zeal 0 for 3. Bouncing ball. Cora diving play, but can't make the throw. What an effort.
It was a great effort, and the fans appreciate it. In reality, Joey Cora knows that once he leaves his feet on that ball, he's got no chance to make the play at first, but hey, no reason not to hustle. You put that uniform on, you come to the ballpark, turn the fans on any way you can. Great play. He was going to try to throw it, but wisely chose to hang on to that ball. I like that. Nothing wrong with a little hustle. Even if it's just for show.
Zeal on at first, and here's Piazza. Perfect day. He's doubled twice, singled, and scored a run. Driven to deep right center field. Forget about that one. 2-run bomb for Piazza.
Piazza was one guy when we were sitting with Lou Piniella yesterday talking. He wasn't sure how they were going to attack Mike Piazza because he was well aware of his opposite field power, and he got an up-close and personal look at it right there.
Home run number 12, RBIs 34 and 35.
Piazza is just so strong. You can see that pitch is actually on the inside part of the plate, but he pulls his hands in, gets ahead of the bat on the ball, and goes the other way with it with as much strength as any left-handed hitter you'll ever see.
And with a home run helping a good cause, $50,000 more to funding Cap Cure's mission to finding a cure for prostate cancer.
That's all upper body. Plants that front foot, very little weight transfer, but uses those big shoulders and arms to drive that ball into the seats.
Well, the Dodgers not going to roll over by any stretch here today. They've been behind 5-0, got it to 5-4. Mariners jump back up to 8-4, and now the 2-run home run for Piazza makes it a 2-run game again as Mondesi takes outside. Still nobody out. A leadoff single by Zeal, the home run by Piazza, who is homered, doubled twice, and singled. Sanders, a right-hander, Charlton, a left-hander, warming up for the Mariners. Hit hard, but right at the shortstop, Espinoza. 1 out.
Talk about Mike Piazza. Most hitters will try to get some kind of weight transfer back this way and then into the ball. But if you watch Mike Piazza, he'll pick up that front foot, put it right back down. Hardly any transfer at all. Uses his upper body, the big arms, the big chest, the big shoulders. Why not?
Well, there you see a contrast going all the way back to their days in high school. Ken Griffey Jr. was the very first player picked. Mike Piazza, meanwhile, went through 62 rounds in the Major League draft. That one lifted high and deep into left field. Cruz at the warning track at the wall. Goodbye. Karros a home run. His second of the day. And the Dodger Thunder coming alive against Seattle, pitching a 1-run game, 8-7. We go to the studio every time Karros hits a home run. Let's send it back to Hollywood for a Miller time game break.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. While the Mariner bullpen gets blistered, how about the Baltimore Orioles and the Braves? Two best teams in baseball hook up, and the Birds take 2 from Atlanta. Mike Bordick throws out Fred McGriff, and the Orioles win it in 12 today, 6-4. The Braves, their first 3-game losing streak.
Chip, thank you very much. The Dodgers 3 runs and still batting here in the 7th. Norm Charlton will come on from the bullpen. Piazza and now Karros doing the damage. What a game.
Go for the gold. The new Rebel G. Get the ultimate rush.
Push the boundaries back with Goodyear Eagle F1. Dual aqua channels sweep water away for serious traction, especially in braking.
Serious freedom. Goodyear.
Boy, that snack looks awfully sweet. But is that a wholesome treat? When you shoulda, coulda, woulda had a boost. Wow, that caffeine's quite an upper, but you'll never last till supper. When you shoulda, coulda, woulda had a boost.
Boost, the nutritious, delicious anytime snack with 25 vitamins and minerals, plus carbohydrates and protein for lasting energy.
Why pick a snack that drains you when a boost sustains you? Yeah, indeed, you need a Autobody shoulda.
After the 7th. Piazza, 2-run home run. Karros, a solo blast, and another $50,000 to funding for Cap Cure's mission to finding a cure for prostate cancer. And a 1-run game as Norm Charlton now comes on the pitch.
Boy, Charlton has had his problems here in Seattle. He was booed very heartily as he came in from the bullpen. A lot of walks on the season, a lot of hits for innings pitched. He's really struggling.
2-1 on Karim Garcia. Wells lit up. He had an inning and a third, allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs. The numbers on Charlton.
Well, you see the 31 2/3 innings, 45 base hits, not good. And Charlton, when he's been good, he's been a dominating pitcher. Usually a lot of strikeouts, a high strikeout to walks ratio, but you can see this year he's walked more than he's struck out. High ERA.
Fouled straight back. Karim Garcia just called up. There you look at Wells, who had to leave. Piazza touched him up with a 2-run home run after a leadoff single by Zeal here in the 7th. 1 out later, a solo blast by Karros. And it's a 1-run game. Garcia went too far, and he's out on strike. Hey, on Sunday, June the 22nd next week, the world will be watching. The championship of the World League is on the line. See tomorrow's NFL stars in World Bowl 97. Coverage begins 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. You're a big World Bowl guy, Mr. Brindley.
Hey, that Rhine Fire, that's my team. I've been with them from the very start.
Yeah, you have. Well, when they started 5-0, you jumped on the bandwagon. Swing and a miss to Cedeno.
I'm behind them wintertime.
Right. Well, the big vote coming up here in Seattle is to the future of their Seahawks about building a new stadium. Cedeno down now 0-2. If they don't get the number of votes to pass the issue to build a new stadium, word is their football team is pulling out of town. The Mariners are the game in town right now.
I don't think too many of these fans are worried about the Seahawks right now.
Cedeno, the 0-2. Wow.
Oh, a little gamesmanship there. Cedeno stepped out of the box as Charlton was ready to begin his delivery on the pitch before, and Charlton was back up on the mound and didn't even wait for Dan Wilson to give a sign for the next pitch. No doubt that was intentional. Telling the young man, get in the box. Whoa. They didn't call him the nasty boys for nothing.
Took the words right out of my mouth. And then he gets him on a swing and a miss. Wilson will throw him out. Little message there by Charlton. He comes in and gets it done and holds a 1-run lead. 7-11. Seattle 9 extra base hits. Junior has number 27. And RBI 72, tops in the major leagues. Piazza's put on a terrific show. And the Dodgers, a 22-1 record when they have scored 5 runs or more. But 5 runs obviously ain't going to get it today. 8-7 as we open the bottom of the 7th. And Candiotti drops the strike. Norm Charlton coming in and sending a message to not only the Dodger hitter Roger Cedeno, but as he was walking off the field, sent a message to the 55,000 here at the Kingdome with a little salute. As he walked off, he was booed when he came in, as Bobby brought up. He promptly struck out Garcia and Cedeno back to back and let the crowd know how he felt about getting booed.
Roger Cedeno is learning the big leagues the hard way. A couple of years ago in San Francisco, he tried to steal third base with a big lead, and when he got to third base, who was there waiting for him? Matt Williams. Gave him a little lesson in when you should steal and when you shouldn't steal. Steps out of the box against Norm Charlton, and Norm sent him a little message, said you shouldn't step out of the box with a veteran pitcher on the mound. So he's learning the hard way, but I guarantee you he's learning.
2-2 to Russ Davis, and a swing and a miss. One away, and hey, you can catch more exciting interleague action on Major League Mondays on FX. This week, a dandy. Bragging rights in the Big Apple. The Mets taking on the Yankees in the Bronx. Don't miss all the action. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on FX. Great looking view of downtown Seattle. What an absolutely gorgeous state here in Washington. Ball one to Espinoza. And you're quite the fisherman, Mr. Brenly, so you can appreciate the great outdoors.
Oh, this is a wonderful place to come visit. Yesterday here at the Kingdome, they gave away fishing rods to the first 15 or 20,000 fans in the ballpark. There are some cities that you would not give people fishing rods.
You got that right.
When they come into the ballpark. But people up here enjoy the outdoors. They're not going to do anything to harm their fishing rod.
Lifted into deep left center, but more than enough room for Cedeno. 2 down. Well, there is the yacht that Bob Brenly traveled from the Bay Area up here to Seattle on, and a little miniature boat will come pick him up after the game along the waterfront by the Kingdome and then get you back started homeward bound.
That little boat is called a dinghy.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is what you must be if you think I came in that boat. And this is the site for the new stadium where the Mariners will be playing in a couple of years. Very unique design to this stadium. It's a traditional open-air stadium with a dome that closes but is separate from the stadium itself.
Candiotti will be lifted in favor of Scott Radinsky. 2 away, nobody on, 1-run game. We'll be right back.
I'm Cal Ripken, and this is my night.
Last of the 7th inning with Seattle clinging to a 1-run lead over the Dodgers. And now on the pitch, left-hander Scott Radinsky.
Radinsky, the big left-hander, the hard-throwing left-hander out of the Dodgers bullpen, has been very effective lately. His last 9 appearances, which spans 8 1/3 innings, only 1 run on 5 hits for an ERA of 1.08. Part of a very strong Dodger bullpen. Very well balanced, very strong.
In there, a strike.
And the left-handed Radinsky coming into the ballgame turns Joey Cora around to the right side of the plate, where he's batting .559 this season. Kind of an unusual move.
That one on the inside corner, a strike. Well, Cora came into this season having not hit a home run from the right side of the plate his entire career. And then on May the 9th, off Baltimore's Arthur Rhodes, in his 545th career at bat from the right side, he hit a home run. On the ground to Gagne. And the inning is over. Dodger bullpen retiring the side in order. We go to the 8th. 1 run, Seattle lead. Mariners lead the Dodgers 8-7 at the end of 7. Norm Charlton on the mound, and he'll be facing Gagne, Guerrero, and then Butler. And he starts out Gagne with a fastball high. Gagne 1 of 3, an RBI single in the 4th inning. Lined hard to left field his last trip in the 6th. He's ahead 2-0. Bobby Ayala, acting as the current closer, loosening up in the bullpen. And there's a strike.
And bullpen coach Matt Sinatro standing right behind Ayala down there in the left field bullpen. Recently just took off his hat, waved it towards the dugout to let Lou Piniella know that indeed he's ready to go whenever you need him.
3 balls and a strike.
Well, with Charlton in the game, there are no left-handers left in the Mariner bullpen. Ayala warming up now.
Foul out of play, and Gagne may have just chased ball 4. That appeared to be a little high. Gagne has seen Charlton a couple of times in their respective careers, and Charlton has retired him both at bats.
Should be a split finger from Norm Charlton.
High, ball 4, and a leadoff walk puts the tying run on base.
And the old baseball axiom is play for the tie at home because you have the last bat in the ball game. Play for the win on the road. So if you believe in that rule, you got to believe Wilton Guerrero is going to be swinging away here.
Well, Guerrero is a switch hitter.
I personally believe with the Dodgers' strength in the bullpen and the Mariners' lack of strength in the bullpen, I would play for a tie right here.
And have him bunt. He slaps it just foul down the third base line, and he broke his bat. He's going to run back to the dugout, so there's nothing littered out on the field just in case.
You know, that's just like a pitcher who's accused of throwing an illegal pitch, like Gaylord Perry. For years, he wanted people to think he was throwing an illegal pitch because it might have given him a psychological advantage. Perhaps Guerrero thinks, well, they already think I'm a cheater. I'll let him keep thinking that. Try to do a little psych job on the opposition.
There's the bat. Guerrero has a new one. See, he has struggled against the left-handers. The thing about Guerrero is he has sprained his left shoulder twice in spring training, and both times has sustained the injury while batting right-handed. They're worried it might be a chronic problem.
You know, being a switch hitter is such an asset to a ball player, and you'd hate to have an injury force you to give up half of your game.
That one in the dirt. Wilson, a quick throw from his knees, and it goes down the right field line. Gagne will make the turn. He'll cruise into third, standing up, and he'll hold right there. A mistake, a rare mistake by Danny Wilson.
You can understand his thinking, but it was an ill-advised throw. The runner is taking an extra couple of steps when he sees that ball go in the dirt. You can see Gagne leaning the wrong way, but Wilson was just in no position to make any kind of an accurate throw down there to first base. Thought was good, execution very bad.
So now the infield drawn in. Tying run 90 feet away. Nobody out here in the Dodger 8th. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Guerrero. And here comes a pitch. Hammered right at the third baseman, Davis, and Gagne gets back to the bag. That could have been a double play.
Tremendous reaction play by Russ Davis at third base. Wilton Guerrero showing his quickness on a fastball inside. The momentum that Davis is going to catch this ball, and he's moving towards third base. If not for the veteran Gagne at third base, he reads line drive immediately and goes back to the bag. Boy, frustrating for a young hitter. Goes up there, gets a good pitch to hit, and drives it about as hard as he can, and nothing to show for it.
Well, a quick visit to the mound by Dan Wilson. Brett Butler will be the hitter after Guerrero was retired on the rocket to Davis. Tying run still at third, and Ayala is ready in the bullpen. You see, Butler has not had much success against Norm Charlton. one will reach the seats.
And a safety squeeze is always, the defense has to be alert for that anytime Brett Butler's at the plate with the runner at third base and less than 2 outs. He handles that bat so well. He's able to deaden the ball so well that you just turn him loose. You say, go ahead and try to bunt for a base hit. If it's a good bunt, Gagne gets a good read on it. He walks home with the tying run. If it's bunted hard right at somebody, Gagne stays. Leaves it up to Todd Zeile to drive him in.
Butler 1 day shy of his 40th birthday. And this is his 17th major league season. His team is down a run with a runner at third and only 1 out. Fastball just off the inside corner to even the count at 1-1.
Good matchup here. A batter that knows the strike zone, rarely goes out of the zone chasing bad pitches, and a pitcher that's had control problems.
Here comes a squeeze, and the Dodgers will get it done. You called it, Bobby. What a bunt by Butler, and the game is tied at 8. You said it.
Well, you use your strengths. Brett Butler, one of his major strengths throughout his career is his ability not only to work the count, but to put down a bunt, especially with the runner at third base. He's got a better chance of driving in a run with a bunt than he does with a fly ball to the outfield. Gagne waits until Charlton is ready to deliver the ball to home plate. You have to wait until that pitcher's arm starts in motion so he can't change and throw a pitch out. And Butler puts the bunt down, gets the run home.
And it all started with a ill-advised throw from Wilson, and Butler gets the job done.
Raving
will turn 40 years young tomorrow. Lays down a perfect suicide squeeze, and we're tied at 8 here in the top of the 8th inning. Bobby Ayala now takes over on the mound, replacing Norm Charlton. Ayala, another hard thrower, and this one into left field. It should in the inning. Cruise near the line, and it will, but not before the Dodgers tie the game. A walk, a throwing error, and a Butler suicide squeeze.
Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Fram Filters, as dependable as the people who use them. By Yukon by GMC, putting you comfortably in command. By Red Lobster, prepared so fresh you can taste it. And by Miller Genuine Draft, who reminds you it's time for a good old macro brew.
Mariners coming to bat here in the last of the 8th inning against Scott Radinsky. Jose Cruz Jr. swings and fouls it back out of play, and he's quickly down a strike. Brett Butler tying the game with a suicide squeeze run batted in. You know, we talked about Butler turning 40 tomorrow. He's trying to become one of 4 center fielders during the entire 20th century to play at that age. The others who played in 80 or more games at 40 years old in center field: Johnny Cooney of the 41 Boston Braves, Doc Kramer of the 45 Detroit Tigers, and most people will remember Willie Mays when he played at 40 in 1971 with the New York Mets.
And Butler's probably thinking to himself, this DH stuff isn't all bad. I'm probably 40 years old tomorrow. I could probably do this for another 5 or 6 years.
Fastball missed, 2-2.
I think a good lesson for the Dodgers today. We've seen them several times this year, Tommy. Lack of continuous offense, not able to get anything going. They've scored in a variety of different ways in this ball game, including a few big balls and a couple of little ones bunted out in front of home plate.
Fouled away again by Cruz, and it's still 2-2.
You look back to that 4th inning, they had a leadoff single, a walk, a fielder's choice, and then 3 consecutive singles to score 2 runs. Of course, they've had the big home runs in the game, 2 from Karros and 1 from Piazza, and then a squeeze bunt to score a run. So they're finding ways to get it done today that they haven't been able to do up to this point of the season.
8 runs, 11 hits for the Dodgers. 8 runs, 10 hits for Seattle, and gone on strikes is Cruz. Today's Red Lobster catch of the day. We're in Seattle, so why not a little catch of the day? This bullet off the bat of Guerrero, and Russ Davis, hello.
Well, players have a saying, that ball caught him. It was hit so hard that you just react, and sometimes the ball goes into your glove before you even realize it's there. But nonetheless, a tremendous reaction play by Russ Davis at third.
Ken Griffey Jr. not bothered by left-handers, although Radinsky's given him fits. Back when Radinsky was a member of the White Sox, and it's ball one away. In fact, Jr. this season has a higher average against left-handed pitching at .312 than he does against right-handers at .303.
I think Jr. goes to the plate against left-handed pitchers looking for breaking balls, and more often than not, he gets them because a lot of pitchers hesitate to challenge with their fastball. Radinsky has a good fastball. He's not afraid to challenge anybody with it. Perhaps that's why he's had better success against Jr. than a lot of left-handers.
Griffey could give his team a lead with one big swing of the bat. Radinsky has other ideas. Griffey homered his last time up, and that one missed outside and high. Let's turn back the clock to the 6th inning.
Well, that's a swing that Seattle Mariners fans have become very familiar with, and a no-doubt home run into the second deck in right field.
2-1 on Griffey. Fastball low and away. Now 3 balls and a strike.
And 4 consecutive fastballs from Scott Radinsky.
Three-one pitch. Oh, he threw it right by him. Came back again with it, didn't he?
That's his bread and butter. He's got a good breaking ball, but he's got much more confidence in that fastball. And as I mentioned, I feel that Jr. looks for breaking balls against left-handed pitchers and takes advantage, hits the ball way out in front of home plate, pulls breaking balls that are even outside and pulls those back into right field.
Fouled that one out of play to keep the count at 3-2.
He's just fighting off that fastball now, hoping that Radinsky makes a mistake. He gets a fastball up and out over the plate, or perhaps changes his mind and tries to go with the breaking ball, but Jr. just fighting off the tough fastball right there.
Those fans who made that banner, they know many across America watching today on Fox. They want their mugs on there catching a Jr. home run ball. And now the 3-2, and he struck him out swinging with a heat. Well, you gotta love Radinsky's makeup. Hit it if you can.
Well, the first and foremost thing you have to do is have a good fastball to begin with, and then have the confidence to use it. Scott Radinsky believes that he can throw his fastball by Griffey Jr., and he just proved it right there, at least for today. They will live to face each other another day.
Radinsky is fanned to Cruz and Jr. to open the 8th, and here's Edgar Martinez, who's been aboard all 4 times today. Homered to right in the 2nd, walked and scored in the 3rd, walked again in the 4th inning, and doubled to left field, scored for a 3rd time in the 6th. A ball, a strike.
Well, Radinsky has very little wasted movement in his delivery to home plate. Even as he stands on the rubber in the stretch, you'll see he's got his throwing hand close to his glove, and just a very slight movement to get into a set position. Very easy delivery, and the ball just seems to explode out of his hands, unlike the Tornado, Hideo Nomo, who has a lot of movement in his delivery.
2-1. The Tornado. Certainly a United Nations pitching staff for the Dodgers. And then there's the big unit. 3-1 now on Edgar Martinez. Radinsky fell behind a Jr. at 3 balls and a strike, battled back to strike him out. And Buhner hoping that Martinez can reach. Good hitters count, but a good pitcher's pitch.
Absolutely perfectly placed fastball right there, right on the corner, down around the knees. And with the count 3-1 in his favor, Edgar was looking for a specific pitch that he wanted to hit, and that wasn't it. man has got to know his limitations, and Edgar knows what he can handle and what he can't handle.
3-2. He walked it. The go-ahead run aboard. No activity in the Dodger bullpen.
Right fielder,
So now you're going to ask Radinsky to face another right-handed hitter in Jay Buhner. Well, you're getting an idea of what we talked about from the very beginning. Ramon Martinez didn't have it today. Well, having said that, Candiotti gets through 2 2/3, does allow 3 runs. But now you're getting into what has been the most dominating bullpen in all of baseball, with Radinsky and Osuna and Worrell and right on down the line. Seattle's bullpen has not been able to hold a couple of leads here today. There you see the Dodgers. 2.77 out of their bullpen.
Not only do they have the good ERA, but they have dominating type pitchers. We mentioned Radinsky. You've seen Radinsky. Antonio Osuna, a hard thrower. Todd Worrell just throws gas. They bring guys out of that bullpen that are going to challenge the opposition, and they aren't afraid to do it.
Swing and a miss. He threw a 93-mile-per-hour fastball right by Buhner. There's Osuna on the left, Worrell in the middle. They have Darren Dreifert. He might be the nastiest of all of them coming back after a rehab stint. 1-1 pitch and another fastball. Whoa!
Here you go, big boy. Not a lot of guesswork right now. And Buhner's got to lay off that fastball. The one up around the letters, he's just not going to catch up to that one.
8-8 game. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Go ahead run at first, and that one just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Radinsky squaring off with Buhner.
Boy, if Radinsky threw Buhner a changeup right here, he might snap his spine swinging at it. I mean, he's just standing out there challenging every one of these Mariners hitters. He hasn't thrown anything but fastballs this entire inning. And the hitters know what's coming.
See what he comes with. 2-2. Another fastball, and it's high. The runner will get started here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And you know Buhner knows what's coming. One more time. Number 1.
It's just a matter of adjustment as a hitter. Turn the knob up just a little bit, be a little bit quicker.
Ball 4. So Radinsky has walked Martinez and Buhner back to back. Now generally Sorrento would be due up. However, the right-handed part of the platoon at first all season long has been Mike Blowers when a left-hander is on the mound. And the Dodgers just now getting a right-hander up in the bullpen.
Well, Radinsky started the inning dominating the first 2 hitters he faced. No real reason to show concern on the part of the Dodgers, but comes back to walk Martinez, walk Jay Buhner. All of a sudden the Mariners have something going.
While we have a moment, we remind you again tonight on an all-new Cops. Real-life heroes, real tense moments. Only one show has so much real-life action. An all-new primetime Cops, followed by America's Most Wanted. It all starts tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Rich Amaral announced as the pinch hitter. Osuna getting loose, but he won't be ready to face this hitter, and Wallace out to the mound.
Well, unless there is a considerable delay somehow, there's no way Osuna can be ready to come in and face this right-handed pinch hitter. And after making this trip to the mound, Amaral has been announced as the hitter. Dave Wallace made the trip to the mound. He cannot go back out to the mound and take Radinsky out of the game now. Radinsky has to pitch to one hitter after a visit to the mound. So he's definitely going to have to face at least Rich Amaral, and depending on how quickly Osuna gets loose, maybe the next hitter.
Amaral just 6 hits in his last 31 at-bats. But he's been a solid contributor to this Mariner team the last few seasons. Can play him anywhere.
Any position on the field. He's played a lot of outfield for Lou Piniella, fills in at first base. plays both the middle infield positions. Very versatile player.
A tie game, bottom of the 8th inning. 2 on and 2 out. Amaral pinch hits for Sorrento and takes inside for a ball. Fastball right down the middle for a strike.
Edgar Martinez bouncing around off of second base out there. Looked like he had thoughts of taking off for third, which is definitely not the thing to do in this situation, but Rudinsky paying very little attention to the base runners.
1-1 delivery to Amaral. Bounce down to third. Zeal has to wait, and he will beat Martinez to the back for the force to end the inning. 2 men left. Mike Piazza will lead off the 9th inning. Tied at 8. The good looks, great player. Now a little TV time. Had a chance to get on the television show Jeopardy. He doesn't need applause for crying out loud. Are you kidding me?
Speed of light. Yes, his wager, 6,000. That takes him up to 12,900. He is the high scorer for today. His charity will receive
Who said catchers are stupid? Look at that. He was against a brain surgeon and a rocket scientist that day and beat them all. Nice going, Mike. Proud of you.
Pretty impressive.
What is the speed of light? They must have been talking about a Randy Johnson fastball. Huh?
Well, it was better than your Jeopardy appearance. They said animal, or rather Wheel of Fortune. They gave you the D, gave you the G, and you couldn't get it straight. So here's Piazza. And what a day he's had. He doubled in the first, singled in the fourth, doubled and scored in the fifth, and hit a 2-run home run to right center field in the 7th. 1-0 pitch from Ayala. And he works him away.
Ayala, your basic sinker slider pitcher. Occasionally he'll throw a 4-seam fastball that'll ride into a right-hander, but gives you a lot of motion. Tries to deceive the batter with that high leg kick and that spinning delivery towards first base.
Fastball up, 3 balls and no strikes. Ayala, another Cincinnati import, along with Charlton. On this Mariner pitching staff, Dan Wilson, all brought over when Piniella knew those guys from his days managing in the National League. Pitch on the way. And he takes a strike, 3-1.
Well, Piazza with a courtesy look down to Joe Amalfitano on that 3-1 pitch, or 3-0 pitch, rather. I don't think you give Mike Piazza the take very often.
3 balls and a strike. Look out here. And it's ball 4 high. You wonder if they wanted a piece of Piazza based on the last time.
Yeah, the only pitch that was really in a zone he could hit was that 3-0 pitch, and there you see why they probably pitched around him. A very stiff-legged, powerful swing. And he was gritting his teeth, too. It went even further because of that.
So here's Mondesi with Piazza slow afoot at first base, representing the go-ahead run.
Wouldn't normally anticipate a sacrifice bunt, even though it is the top of the 9th inning in a tie game. We did see Mondesi put down a sacrifice bunt a couple of weeks ago. The first of his career, if I'm not mistaken. So we know he can do it. The question is, will Billy Russell ask him to do it?
Well, you know, during the month of May, to tell you what kind of problems the Dodger offense had, combined, Piazza and Karros had 7 hits with runners in scoring position during the entire month. But now all of a sudden these guys beginning to warm up. And we'll see what happens as it's a big swing and a miss by Mondesi, because Karros and Piazza have been deadly here today. Piazza 4 hits. He's been on base 5 times. Karros has homered in each of his last 2 at-bats.
Mondesi really with an out-of-control swing right there. He was given the green light, no sacrifice bunt on that pitch, and he really aired one out. 0-1. Lifted into right center field, a long run, and Buhner gets there. Gold Glove winner from a season ago. And he makes a catch in the alley to take away a hit and maybe the go-ahead run. Jay Buhner's not particularly fast in the outfield, but he's very smart, and he takes a good line. What coaches say, he takes a good line to the ball. You'll see him, the ball goes into the air, he breaks to his right and goes exactly where he needs to be to catch that ball. Very good perception on the flight of the ball as it comes into the outfield.
And you brought up the other day on Thursday when we were here, he works at it.
Well, we saw him out here early today, even before batting practice, yesterday rather, taking fly balls, taking ground balls, having the coach hit the ball off the wall in right, playing the caroms.
Here's Karros. And Ayala deals a strike, a slider on the outside corner. Karros, a 2-run home run in the 5th inning. A solo home run in the 7th. Go ahead run at first here in the 9th. And a big swing and a miss. He was fooled again by the slider from Ayala.
Well, he's seen some hanging breaking balls in this game, but Ayala's thrown 2 perfect sliders to him. One that would have been a called strike had he taken it, and then the one he swung right through. Tough pitch down and off of the plate. He's wide open now. Ayala could work him hard up and in or throw him another slider down low and away. Looks like a slider away.
And here it comes. Got him swinging. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Karros back in the 5th inning with Piazza aboard. Bang. Another hanging breaking ball, as you talked about.
Well, it shows you the difference between throwing a good breaking ball to a big league hitter and throwing a bad breaking ball. There was another hanger.
That came in the 7th. Nardi Contreras out to the mound to talk things over with his right-hander Bobby Ayala about sweet swinging left-handed hitter Kareem Garcia.
You know, more often than not, when home runs are surrendered, it's not necessarily the pitch, but more often it's the location. As we saw, Karros is wearing out hanging breaking balls, but swinging through good breaking balls.
Garcia 1 of 4, knocked in a run with a single back in the 4th inning. Go ahead run at first here in the 9th. Waves through that pitch. A split-fingered fastball from Ayala.
That's a really good pitch for Ayala. He jumps at the hitter so much with that big leg kick and the big motion towards home plate. Brings that arm forward, and the ball just seems to float out of his hand.
And there it is again. There's no doubt about it. When Ayala's right, he is mighty tough. And now the crowd will come to its feet. 55,000 wanting a strikeout. Their wish is granted. Bottom of the 9th inning coming up in Seattle. The Dodgers and the Mariners tied at 8. Game. Well, Father's Day is tomorrow, and Jay Buhner made a special request for his dad.
Super Dave, happy Father's Day to you. I love you, and I just want to say to my dad out there, King Griffey Jr., you know, he got the beautiful fluid swing from his dad, and Jose Cruz Jr. from his dad, Cheo. What a swing, switch hitter, beautiful swing as well. And from you, Dad, what did I get? This? Bald head? Happy Father's Day to you, Super Dave. I love you, and all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day to you.
Well, I'm glad to hear he got the bald head from his father and not his mother.
You got that right. Oh, you're bad. Here's Antonio Osuna, who is mighty tough.
Averaging over a strikeout at innings so far this year. Just an overpowering fastball. Dodgers just keep bringing good arms at you out of that bullpen. I mentioned at the top of the show that perhaps the Dodgers had the best staff in the National League. A lot of people say, well, what about the Braves? I think the Dodgers bullpen gives them a slight edge over the Atlanta Braves when you're talking about a 10-man pitching staff.
Dan Wilson leads off the 9th. We're tied at 8, and Osuna bringing the heat. It's in there, a strike. Osuna's numbers have gone up in terms of inflating that ERA. It was well under 1.5 until he was hammered the other night against Houston. 0-1 pitch. Got jammed, did Wilson, and pops it. Easy play for Karros. Maybe for people in the American League unfamiliar with his Dodgers staff, just to illustrate how good it truly is, Antonio Osuna a year ago made 73 appearances for the Dodgers. He had an ERA of 3.00. Most teams would beg for an arm like this. Well, when spring training came to an end this season, Osuna was not given a ticket for Los Angeles. He was sent to AAA Albuquerque. But now he's back. Ball one away to Russ Davis, who's had a nice afternoon. 2 doubles, a run scored, 2 batted in. And a 1-0 pitch. Fly ball. Hit pretty well right field. The game is over. Seattle defeats Los Angeles. Mariners 3-0 in interleague play, and our Chevrolet player of the game, Russ Davis.
Get a good look at this swing. Antonio Osuna providing the power, a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Russ Davis stays right on it, drives it to the opposite field to win the ball game.
And CapCure, the Association for the Cure of Cancer, of Prostate Cancer, would like to salute the home run hitters in today's game. They have raised a total of $350,000. 7 home runs this afternoon. This will go a long way to help finding a cure for prostate cancer. So the Mariners, the best offensive team in the entire American League, play long ball today. En route to a 9-8 win, Jr. is 27th. Karros had a couple. Piazza had one, but not enough for the Dodgers in a terrific game. Our producer, Mike Weissman, our director, Jim Lynch. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast today. Interleague play has arrived in Major League Baseball, and you gotta love it. For Bob Brenly, I'm Tom Brenneman, saying so long from Seattle.
My man, all the dads out there, happy Father's Day.
This has been a presentation of